Hello, everybody, and welcome to Save Our Dice. We are back for the season finale of Fury. So let's jump around to our cast and crew, hear from our sponsors, and get right into the fiasco that is Fury. We'll start with the returning and newly bemedaled arm. Jordan, who are you? Where can we find you? And who are you playing today?
I am Jordan. You can find me on YouTube searching for Forgotten Realms Explained. And I am playing Arri, who is a glaive with a big hammer and a metallic arm. Huzzah!
Perfect.
This was literally done probably 20 seconds before we started.
10 out of 10. I like it. Let's jump right over to to Kenny. Kenny, who are you? Where can we find you? And who are you playing today?
I'm Kenny Hill. You can find me at twitch.tv/Kenny Hill. It's very easy. I'll be playing Silica today. She is also a glaive, but she doesn't have a metal arm or a hammer. So not nearly as cool as Arri.
That's true. She doesn't have any of those things. Agreed. Let's jump over to Bill. Who are you? Where can we find you? And who are you playing today?
Yep, I'm Bill. I run a YouTube channel called Wyloch's Crafting Vids, where I show you how to make stuff like this here behind me. Tonight, I'm playing Wyloch, fittingly, who is a nano who exists partially out of phase and has a fractured mind to boot.
True. I can help things more and more. And last but not least, Ted, who are you? Where can we find you? And who are our sponsors tonight?
I am Ted from Nerdarchy. You can find us over on nerdarchy.com as well as YouTube. Just search Nerdarchy and you will find us. I will be playing Zariff, the tough jack who explores dark places, and our sponsors for the campaign. And sadly, tonight is indeed the finale for good or for ill. We have Archania Workshop, great 3D printed terrain, dungeon tiles, minis. They have great stuff. Go check them out. We also have Dungeon Painter Studios, pyromancers.com. If you want custom-made maps for your role-playing game, they're a great resource, so go check them out and support our sponsors, please.
Sweet. So before we jump right into the show here, we have to go around. Last week, in the comments down below, chat decided to give you guys some XP. It was a close call. Silica, you get the bonus XP. There was some big ups to Sassy Wyloch, and there was some kudos or some odes to Zariff's missing finger. But it did get clutched by Silica in the end. So yeah, Silica, you have a bonus XP to start this.
So I want you guys to vote in the comments this time for whether or not Ari's arm will survive tonight. So not Ari's the character, but Jordan's metal arm there.
What if the arm is the only thing that survives?
Yeah.
It's just this clawed arm that
I'll decide whether his arm survives. Chat, you can decide whether the tinfoil survives.
There you go.
And I got an XP from last week's, right? When I wasn't here?
You did,
okay.
Yep. You did get the bonus XP, for sure. Cool, with that, guys, we'll jump into things. Previously, on Fury. Navigating past the macabre menagerie and safely into the strange teleportation device, Zariff, Arri, Wyloch, and Silica found themselves trapped facing a massive Numeneran device that, when touched, managed to sever off one of Zariff's fingers. But through their combined efforts and a few close calls, our investigators were able to bypass the device and find the true tomb, elaborately decorated and littered with Numenera. They approached the tomb with as much reverence as excitement, only to find that it was missing one impossible blade, if it ever held it at all. Pushing their dismay aside, the group dared to venture past the tomb, where they found themselves face to face with a thrumming energy barrier, and after a few tense minutes of deliberation were met with the barrier's likely creators. Silica, in an attempt to avoid further bloodshed, tried to open a dialogue with the creature, and speaking through Wyloch's own mouth, the Arulians were convinced that she and her allies meant them no harm, and were direct descendants of the long-dead queen. Finally allowed passage beyond the barrier, Silica led Zariff, Arri, and Wyloch through several chambers beyond, until finally ending in what could have been a massive synth temple, covered in enough Numenera to make an Aeon priest blush. Stepping up to the raised dais, Silica began an intense exchange that hinged on a few well-placed words and perfectly executed platitudes, resulting in an agreement between her and the Aurelian Master, and the passing on of the impossible blade. Now all was left to defeat the Insidious choir. You guys stand in the chamber of the Aurelian Master. The impossible blade has been bequeathed unto you. Silica, you still sit among the top of the dais where the Aurelian Master is, surrounded by his 9 minions, all seemingly plugged in to this thing. What are you guys doing?
So I had a question.
Sure.
Since it is quite clear that you are all collectors of Numenera, I would imagine your knowledge of such would be profound. I was wondering whether I could trade a Numenera for your knowledge.
And you're saying this to the Aurelian Master?
Yes.
You see his brain sort of rotate towards you, and his 9 like spines kind of wriggle out. You see his like all of his synapses kind of spread, and he seems huge. And it sort of drifts lazily off the Diaz down towards you. And Silica, you get to see its full visage as it sort of morphs by, and it looks like a massive jellyfish of spinal column as it sort of swims down through the air towards you. And you hear this one, again, reverberate through the entire chamber, turn to you and say, "What is it that you bring?"
So I'll hold out the flotation device, say...
Silica, the hand one? Or
yeah.
Silica's disc?
No. The one that we got from the
Don't
boat.
touch my disc.
Okay.
I'm not touching the disc.
Okay.
I offer this in trade if you can tell me, and I point to the helmet, what this can do.
It lowers itself down to your level as if you could see it looking at you. It's all of its other eyes are closed, and the large central one opens, and you see one of its spines sort of wriggles up and wraps around your wrist and begins slowly removing that device as as one of the other tails kind of wriggles up, and you feel like Arri and Wyloch, you can kind of see this happening. The tail kind of wriggles up to you're wearing it, right? Yeah. So you see the tail wriggle up and begin adjusting the dial on the node on the back of his head. So you feel Zariff, like something's just like jostling the back of your head, like when you're at a barber and they're kind of moving you around, right? You get that feeling. And then everyone else, you see it release him, but you still feel this head movement. And Wyloch and Arri, you see a massive translucent black tentacle has lurched out of the back of the helmet and is now kind of wriggling free above Zariff's head. It's wriggling above Zariff's head, and a tiny child pops out of the tentacle.
Sorry, children. Not much you can do with them.
That's all right. So this giant brain monster has unleashed a tentacle from the back of your head.
So there is a tentacle monster out of the back of my head.
Yes.
And they have taken payment without actually telling me what this thing is.
Oh, it told you what it does. It unleashes a giant tentacle monster with the back of your head. You didn't ask how to use it. You just asked what it does.
I asked them for the knowledge of what it does.
Yeah.
Words are really important.
The helmet unleashes a giant tentacle monster out of the back of your head. You did not say, "Can I give you Numenera for you to tell me how to use it?"
Okay, then.
So you now know how to activate the tentacle. What it does beyond that, you're not entirely sure, or how to control the tentacle. But you know that it does unleash a tentacle that just waves around behind your head.
My Silica's thought, because unfortunately she has had a lot of experience with tentacles and slug monsters and things that attach to your spine and things that look like spines. And I start to think maybe that this thing needs to attach to someone in order to work.
So what you can see is the tentacle, or well, I guess Wyloch and Arri can see it. The tentacle, there is a hexagonal apparatus on the back of the helmet that had a like a spiralized eye slit that kind of just opens. You guys saw it open up, and the tentacle comes out of it. So the tentacle is physically attached to the helmet itself.
So if I take a couple steps forward, I've got my hammer brandished. Does it flick at me? Does it attack me, or is it just kind of waving in the air?
It's
like
just sort of waving. It's mundanely waving in the air.
Am I able to kind of gain any mental control of it?
Would you like to try?
I would.
Roll me a difficulty 3 intelligence.
Of all the things hats do, I was not expecting that.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Sometimes hats just, give you an extra arm or something along those lines.
So you feel like this is incredibly strange, right? But you feel like given time, you could learn to control this. Right now, you're not getting through to it, but you feel like with time and practice, you would be able to.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know that if everyone else saw it, how you can try to beep boop beep boop, and then suck the tentacle back into the back of your head. So you can turn it off.
Okay. I will turn it off. So this isn't a one-use thing?
No.
Oh, that's good. I would have totally thought it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I'll use this thing for you.
If it activates for you, yeah. No, I'm not that mean. Come on now. Yeah, I will give you the stats for that as soon as I remember where I put them. But the rest of you, as you watch the tentacle go in and out of the back of Zariff's head, what are you guys doing?
I'm starting to wonder how we get out of here. Like we got the blade. We don't have probably a lot of time left until the Insidious choir makes their move or something catastrophic happens to the town. And I do have this beacon cipher from the chieftain Barnum and Bailey or whatever his name was. And so I want to see if I can step out of the room and discreetly use it, because I don't really feel comfortable using it in front of the Illuminati creatures. So
just remember, they're in league with the choir. They think we are too, but they are for real.
Wait, I'm sorry. What? Who is in league with the choir? Wyloch?
We from the establishment outside the city. That's who we got the homing beacon from, the recall beacon.
No, we got that from Barnum and Bailey guy, chieftain. We snuck it
in the city
from Delorme.
while we were.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I misremember. All right.
I'm like, I have a really bad memory, but I hope my memory is not that bad. I just call up the wrong people. Hello, we have the thing that will kill you.
There you go, Ted. Check chat.
Okay.
So I'd like to find a way to discreetly use that and make contact, see if there's, I don't know, some quick way for us to get out of here. And
Do we know where the Insidious choir is? Like
we don't even really know what it is.
Yeah, we have this blade that looks like the Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It looks like a sword of data.
Sword of data. Have we Numenera'd it? Have we checked it out? Does it?
No, you guys literally just get handed it, and like that's where you are right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe we need to Wyloch it for a little bit and see what's going on with this sword. And that might maybe it homing beacons into the Insidious choir. Like maybe now that we've touched it, they know where we're at, and we need to race to them halfway or something.
All right, I'm willing to work with Wyloch on that. Grab the blade. I don't know if Wyloch should touch it, but I can hold it out for him and try to give him a good.
I definitely touch it.
You touch it? Okay.
Yeah. So I lay a hand on it and try and focus and figure out what it might do.
Did you think there was a world in which Wyloch didn't touch that? Is that where you?
One of the 9 worlds.
Yeah, one of the dimensions has a dimension where he doesn't touch that thing.
No, I don't think so.
No.
No.
So, if someone's assisting him, which is it sounds like I heard someone's trying to assist him, how are you trying to do that?
I mean, I'm the chosen one, so I'm facilitating the blade. I'm channeling my own energy into it, and so holding it out to Wyloch.
There's clearly a lineage going on here, so there has to be some kind of connection that she has with it. So if they're both touching it at the same time, there's got to be one of his different phases can see Silica and the blade and that historical connection that we've been pretty much having shoved down our throats for the last several days. So
Zariff knows what's up.
You guys are getting better and better at bullshitting me with nonsense ideas, and I like it. Okay, cool. So I will give you an asset for her assisting you, and this will be a difficulty, I believe, 8. Numenera check. Difficulty 8 Numenera check. With an asset for Silica. Failure. So you describe to me what this looks like as Silica presents you the blade, her historical heritageous blade.
Yeah, so I laid my hand on it, and then the code started going over it as if my hand were part of it, and it fades out here, but it's like starting to merge a little bit. And I closed my eyes trying to figure it out for about 8 minutes, and then I got nothing. I'm sorry.
Which is too long to have been sitting there the whole time.
He tried really hard, though.
Yeah, for 8 whole minutes. Yeah, so unfortunately, it does that. You can see it like spider up and like almost replicate your veins, but outside the skin, and it's in like that jagged like data, like a very Samurai Jack style situation happening up your arm, and then you get nothing. You get absolutely nothing, as it seems to be just beyond your or any of the other 8 universal versions of Wyloch's comprehension. This blade
hallway that
is
brought
very
us
much
here
impossible.
had 2 other exits.
It did.
Yep.
We should backtrack.
I would like to try one more thing.
Okay.
Because I really like Zariff's idea for trading ciphers and Numenera for answers.
Yes.
And I've got a pretty good track record with the brain creatures now.
You do.
And I still have, since the beginning of our quest, this stem pill. And I mean, considering what it could do for a mere mortal like myself, I can only imagine what it could do for the master brain here and how desirable that would be for them. So I would like to try to negotiate a trade of knowledge and instruction about what they know concerning the Insidious Choir and how the Impossible Blade works in trade for the stem pill.
Okay. I'm going to need
Mm-hmm.
a difficulty 5 persuasion style check for this. You can use your ability to talk to people, and I will give you an asset for the pill
Okay.
as a bargaining tool.
I will exert effort.
Okay.
And an asset. And let's do it.
Whew.
So what exactly are you asking this pseudo elder brain?
Great and benevolent Elder Brain, you have aided us oh so wisely in our quest to defeat the Insidious Choir and obtain the Impossible Blade. But we require further assistance, and we would like to know what wisdom you can pass on to us concerning our next steps in defeating the Insidious Choir and using the Impossible Blade. I'm kneeling. I am also kneeling again. It hurts a little bit on the inside to the ego, but I'm doing it.
It's twice in like a matter of an hour that you've knelt before this thing.
It's very important, and he's very much important.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, he's a creature from beyond this world, so
True.
you don't mess with those.
Yeah. And he's like, in D&D terms, he's like an elder brain meets a beholder. It's rough. It's real rough. It turns to you, and it, like, are you still on the dais? Or did you walk? Oh, yeah, I guess you must have walked down to Wyloch, right? So it turns to you, still being next to Wyloch, and again, booming throughout the whole chamber, tinning off the walls. You hear, "This is not a tool. Defeat the Insidious Choir. This will only slow them down. This is a key that will stop the beacon atop the island."
So
Is
the
there
answer was friendship the whole time.
Is there
Yes.
any expedient way for us to return to the surface and to the central tower? I know that's a second question, but it's related.
You ask much.
I do.
you offer much.
I rely greatly upon your generosity and benevolence.
One of the tendrils sort of snakes up and gently doop, takes the pill out, and it floats back towards the central location, and you can see where all the other stems of the other 9 are plugged into, and it kind of floats back over to where its stem hole was and drops the pill inside of it, and you see that like you can hear like this plunk as it hits some kind of liquid down there, and you see this strange glow start to emit from the other 9 brains as they enter their energy mode, and their energy flashes from this yellow to this purple, and they vibrate, and you can hear like this kind of energy going throughout the temple. He slides back over to you, and he says, "Go the way you came. Turn right twice. You will be ascended." And it begins to back up towards the dais again.
Cool. That's our cue to leave. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm not actually sure I like it all that much. I'm a little concerned.
Don't forget, you did promise to take them home with you.
Yes, I did. What? No, that is not what I said.
You said that you would try to see if you could get them to the continent.
I said I would do my best.
Mm-hmm.
And I will do my best.
The brains? Is that what you... Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
That's the
Arri,
part you missed, Jordan.
Yeah, that sounds like a great interjection point.
Yeah.
They're fine.
A
They're
couple of
just
notes, maybe.
They're scientists.
So what was exactly the deal you made, Kenny, so that Arri can get caught up real quick? Or so that Jordan get caught up?
I said that I would do... They wanted to get to the continent, and I said I would do my best to get them there. That is what I said, and I meant it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other people who may object to that, and I can only do so much to convince them. Let's get out of here.
True. You can only do so much. So it backs up, and you see it extend all of its 9 tendril-like spinal cords into one column, and then you can hear that wet sound as it plugs back into the central column, so to speak, and it too begins to glow this strange purple glow.
She did give them the pill, right?
Oh, he took the pill from her and dropped it in, and that's why everyone's glowing purple now.
Yeah, they're having some sort of weird existential STEM party. Anyways.
The whole church just locked out.
Well,
I want in on that.
Yeah.
How about back the way we came, 2 rights.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys go out the way you came. You take a right going northward, and then as you go up there, probably about 20 feet, you see a small, maybe 5-foot, 3-foot corridor that takes another sharp right, assuming that's the way you go. It leads down for about 15, 20 feet in just darkness. And you guys get to the end of that darkness. Who's leading the party? You? Okay.
That would be me.
Okay, so you are, this is your thing, right? So you're very carefully leading them down this hallway.
I can pop out a glow globe if, people are worried about the darkness.
Sure.
If we think there's traps that I need to be on the lookout for.
Yeah. You may egress as whatever way you guys see fit. If you want to use a glow globe, if you want to be checking for traps, you let me know. But this corridor is about 20 feet long from what you can guess. It does disappear into darkness.
Yeah, that is my plan. I mean, unless I feel like, hey, we're in, happy, safe place. There's not anything that's out to kill us.
You don't feel like that. You haven't felt like that since you arrived in the island. So if you would like to search, go ahead and give me a searching difficulty 3.
All right, I will do so.
In the meantime, I'm just going to be on the lookout for any more cerulean brains that are maybe around doing things.
Okay, so you easily navigate this hallway. There are, in fact, no traps. You kind of pop out just enough glow globe to see and still be inconspicuous as you descend down this hallway for about 20 or so feet. The glow globe was an added boon in that the hallway just stops abruptly and falls down what you assume to be hundreds and hundreds of feet, as you are now back at the pit, deep down below any of the other entrance points that you had climbed it previously. So basically, where you found the guy that stung you, then the other rooms you guys went through, you are like hundreds of feet down beyond that. So you can kind of see up into like this vast tube that you know eventually leads to, or at least you assume eventually leads back to the city underneath.
Well,
go ahead.
he said, to ascend up. There's no cable. It was like a rising floor, right?
There's nothing. There's an open hole here.
Is there anything along the walls that we would, for our sake, like to kind of call the elevator?
There's not. In fact, as you stand here befuddled and just waiting for maybe you misunderstood the directions, maybe he was fucking with you, you hear that thrumming noise. And from the bottom of the pit, or from deep down in the pit, you see this light purple glow begin to emit and slowly get brighter and brighter as something is moving up the tube. What do you guys do? Piled in this little tunnel here.
I'm gonna, do something stupid. I'm gonna peek my head and see if I can see what this purple glow is.
Okay. So you peek over the edge, and it looks like there is a lightning storm just sort of slowly making its way and refracting in a circular kind of pattern, just bouncing around back and forth. And as it rises, it's moving incredibly slow. But as you kind of lean forward, you feel a warm current being pushed up, as if this thing is maybe pushing hot air up the tube.
Is there a rock or anything that I could grab?
I'm sure you have rocks on you.
Okay, yeah, why not? I toss a rock in and see if it falls down or if it floats.
It falls down for a while, and then you see it like sort of float above the lightning storm, and then begin to rise above, and you see it like go past you and then up towards the center.
Well, looks like that's our ride.
Gotta have faith, guys.
And so you just step out and you're
I'm gonna wait till the rock gets, within a couple of feet, and then absolutely I'm gonna step out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So the thing slowly moves up this whole thing. And as it gets, let's say like 10 feet below you guys, you can feel like the hairs on the back of your arm stand up, the hair on the back of your neck stand up. You can feel the crackle of energy as if electricity just courses through everything. But the warm up current still emits from this thing. Do you guys jump?
If they're going, I'm going. I'm just a lemming. So.
Yes, as soon as it's, right there, boom, I'm in.
It's the bonus level from Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Of course I do.
Arri, do you jump also?
Ari's scared of heights, so he kind of like nudges himself off and like falls off more than jumps.
So you sort of flop out, and
Yeah,
again,
like,
as soon as you guys, it looks like you're going to pass through this cloud of lightning, and then all of a sudden you just sort of gain buoyancy, and you rise back above it about 10 feet, and you're just in this weird, like floaty sort of temporal space thing as it slowly makes its way up the top of this thing.
How fast are we moving?
Incredibly slow.
Incredibly slow.
Yeah,
okay.
like it's moving maybe like in let's say like in D&D terms, it's moving like maybe a 5 foot square around, right? And you have hundreds of feet to go. So it's just slowly ticking its way up there, very slow.
Sounds like this would be a good time to take a short rest.
Sure. If you guys like to take a short rest, you guys are floating there helplessly. So
how long is it actually taking?
It takes you so if you had to guess, it's hard to tell because you don't know how the distance is, right? But if you're looking at what you perceive to be the light, it's probably going to take you less than an hour, but definitely more than 10 minutes.
Okay. Well, I think I'm at the hour mark, so.
Okay.
So if I'm allowed to roll that, I will absolutely do so.
I think you would be below the hour mark, but there's nothing to stop you from stopping and taking a rest once you get to the top of wherever this thing is leading you, right?
Well then, I will absolutely go ahead and roll my hour.
So Yeah, this thing pushes you past, and you guys can see where your rope dangles, and your rope catches and sort of floats with this thing until it passes by, and the rope drops again. You pass by all the closed doors, the column of 4 doors that you guys have passed through. You find yourselves moving up past the rickety wooden staircase, past where the God of Death was, and you continuously float up until this thing hits basically the bottom of the sphere of missing matter, and it just stops there. And you see the crackle of energy just sort of like start moving slower and slower.
Well, if we're at that spot, then I'm gonna step off and finish my rest. But before this thing dissipates or starts going back down, time to egress.
Yeah, I started doing the breaststroke to try and get out of it.
Yep, you start slowly moving through like you're swimming through quicksand. But you eventually make it to the side where you know there's a staircase, and you guys find yourselves back at the top of the pit. So you can finish out your rest. It's probably like another 10 to 15 minutes, right, to use that hour rest. If anyone would like to use their 1 hour their 1 hour recovery roll, you are free to do so.
I will.
I want to do an hour recovery roll, and then I want to do I do an intelligence check to repair myself.
Yes, once per day you can do.
So let's do an intelligence check. What was
So
that?
difficulty 3? Yep.
So this is the room with the necromancer bug thing.
Yes.
You've gone past that. This
Okay.
is so at the top of the hole is where you guys found the abandoned house that led you to the hole. You descended down the hole, found the necromancer bug thing, and then you had to go down by ropes past that.
All right.
So you're all the way back at the top.
All right. Cool.
Yep. So you guys are back in one of the quadrants of the ruined city. You know that Devola rests at the center. What do you guys do?
We're gathered here and standing, kind of deciding what to do, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so I reach into something I've been contemplating this entire time. So I reach into my cloak and I pull out my pane of yesterglass, and I hold it out as if to, like, you three are standing there, but as if there were a 4th person next to you, and I'm talking to nobody. But I say, take this. Now, the yesterglass reveals the most significant thing to happen to whatever it's trained on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Take this, press the red button, train it right here. And I want him to zoom in on the gem that's stuck in my forehead. Because we know that it's tied to the Insidious choir somehow, along with something about what happened to Zariff. So the idea is, look at this. Let's see where it came from. Let's try and look at the moment before it got lodged here.
I'm for it. I'll take it. I'll use it.
All right. Yep. So I give it to her.
Okay. Dope. So you train it, and I assume Wyloch sort of shows you what the buttons do. You train it in and zoom it as best you can, like a camera, onto the gem of Wyloch's in Wyloch's head, and you turn it on. It buzzes and flickers like an old television set as you're trying to like tune in to the frequency, right? Wyloch, you see nothing happening. It looks like a blank screen on the other side, which is weird because before you could kind of see the reverse image, right? Arri and Wyloch, Arri and Zariff, are you gathered around Silica looking at this thing?
Yep, 100%.
Okay. Cool. So, Bill, describe to me what happened when you got that embedded in your head. That's the first scene they see.
I get to make it up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's. Thought this was what you were going to do.
No.
Okay.
This is your backstory. Go nuts.
Okay. I was a sort of a rogue treasure hunter. Shouldn't have been one, though. Was of noble blood. Was curious about the world. Didn't fit in with nobles. Was really curious, scientific mind, nerd, whatever. And during a particular forage into a cave that I shouldn't have gone into, found a metal box with chamfered edges and corners. And Didn't know it at the time, but on it was the symbol that I threw out the other day because I cleaned up my desk. But the sun symbol with the Insidious Choir's symbol. I opened it up. Inside was the blue gemstone. And the last thing I remember is picking it up. I then woke up having gone through way worse than the worst acid trip that anyone's ever had, knowing things about the universe that no one ever should, but retaining only 1% of it. Still enough to fracture my mind and bring me to my current state. So as far as where that box came from, I don't know.
So that's what you see. But you see one added thing on that. You see that as soon as he pulls the gem out of the box, almost like the Impossible Blade, but with blue like data streams, it unplugs, and you see this this pattern just sort of emerge from where it was and spider out, like all blocky, out and around the box and then down, as if data is raining, like pouring like liquid out of the box and then down Wyloch's arms and legs, is just tracing down, and it disperses into the rocks around it. You see the screen flash a few more times, and then it looks like you're staring at Wyloch's face, except Wyloch's, well, I mean, I guess he normally has one, but you see a deadpan kind of look in his face, and then you see the gem begin to glow and pulse, and if you move the Yesterglass, it's not doing that. You're only seeing this through the Yesterglass, and you see rapid fire a bunch of visuals happen that you guys can roll me. I'll say roll me intelligence or searching, difficulty 5.
Ooh.
Trying to figure out how to have an advantage here. Don't think I can.
Ooh.
Oh, who's Jordan? Well done. Welcome back.
No, dang it.
Oh boy.
Well, you know.
Okay. So you see flashes of images of places and locations. You feel like you should know where they are, but it's just happening so fast.
GM, I want to use an XP and reroll.
Okay. Let's have it.
Come on, Zariff.
I want you to use an XP and reroll all.
Me?
No, just him.
Oh.
I mean, if you want to, you could do it too.
I mean, he's so good at searching.
Yes.
Okay. So these images are just rapid fire, just changing. They're only up for like maybe 3 or 5 seconds. They just kind of pop up, pop down, pop up, pop down. Zariff, it's nauseating, right? It's like, it's one of those like flash films where it's just going too fast, but you're fairly certain that several of these places are ruins you've been to.
Okay.
You like, there's outcroppings and there's locations and like a door or like a box or like a mining place that you've seen abandoned. There's places you know where they are exactly. They might be a little foggy in your memory, but you know you've been to some of these places.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in real quick.
Sure.
I know where I touched some strange Numenera that wiped my emotions. Can I take agency and say that one of these things was that place?
You don't have to take agency. It is.
Okay.
It sure is one of those places.
Okay.
In fact, you see that there is a flash of a small mining hamlet that is unfamiliar to you as well. It flashes back and forth and flashes at different places. You see a strange mountain in the distance. Then it's like it flutters and you seem like you're going closer to the mountain. You see this strange metal beast. You're not entirely sure what this thing is, but it lurches forward and it seems to have many segmented parts, and it is running along some kind of beam or branch or track. You're not entirely sure what this is, but it lurches forward and it starts to pick up speed, and it's like bullet training towards something. What that is, you're not entirely sure, but in every one of these images you see that same purple like square blocky spider web tracing through these locations. And then Arri's Nat 1 comes into play, and you hear, and you see spreading out from the stone that is Wyloch's head, a large crack begin to cross the Yesterglass as a splits down the middle.
Ooh.
And the image goes black.
I broke it, guys.
He broke your toy, man. He looked at it wrong and it broke.
You looked at it wrong.
If I had a nickel for every glass I broke with my face.
It seems that whatever energy was just put through this thing to show whatever that was too much for the Yesterglass to take. Now what did you guys do?
What'd you see?
So,
Basically, it sounds like I opened a cork on, like I pulled the stopper that allowed the Insidious choir into this world.
That's an interpretation.
Like. Okay. So what did you guys learn?
I don't think. Do you say that out loud? Like,
he didn't see anything.
Okay.
I didn't get to see anything.
Okay. So I will give you as much detail as I was able to ascertain from watching. So that's up to you, Mike, how much I'm able to.
Oh, you can retain all of it. You succeeded your test. Retaining isn't the issue. It was identifying the places. So you can recount as much of it as you want. They were a lot of like rapid fire images. So I assume you'd stick to like the biggest ones that stood out or the ones that remained on the screen for longest. But you have plenty of time to recap.
All right. So I give you the short version of that, and I will absolutely share that one of those places, or many of those places I had investigated, I had been to, but in this one specific, it was a set of ruins, within a cave. It was kind of hidden off the beaten path, but in there I touched some strange device, but it kind of disappeared after I touched it. But touching that is what stripped me of my usual emotions. So to see that in the Yesterglass related to that stone in your head only cements how connected we are. And I'm gonna kind of go out on a limb and say that hamlet, is that where Arri, is that where you're from? I kind of described that place.
Is it where I'm from?
If he describes it to you, it sounds like where you're from.
Yeah,
it sounds
about right. I mean, everything I saw was such a blur. I had to look away. I was getting nauseous. I missed a lot of what happened.
And was I able to, determine if there was anything in that in that set of visions that I could have possibly linked to Silica?
No.
Okay. Based on your recollection, I didn't, as Ted, think there was anything there. But
yes, you didn't as Ted. Zariff didn't either. Like, you don't know enough about her backstory to about where she's from. But Silica had a vision that I don't think she's shared with everyone yet. That links her to things. So that's up to her.
As her eyes go wide.
a certain table.
Oh,
a certain father's.
Ted remembers the table.
I am aware of the table. I still don't like the idea of fate, or I don't know that I would share that because
that's cool.
I don't mind.
It's not important enough yet.
Yeah, I don't mind not sharing it.
So we learned nothing more of the virus or its motives or how we might kill it permanently.
No.
The most I would say the most you guys would have gained from that is that it is expanding far. Like Zariff, you know how far apart the places you've been to are, and the fact that you saw several of them means that this thing has a web across the Steadfast.
But we already had kind of been told that.
But now you can visually see like how much it's infected and where.
Was it Devola, right?
Devola did tell you it was trying. Devola told you it was trying to spread its influence.
So is the island we're on the center of this influence?
You don't have a firm enough grasp on what's going on to. Yeah, I mean, you could assume that, right? You have nothing to point you to a definite yes or no. I think Devola told you that the Insidious Choir was using this place as a way to spread the virus. But whether it's the center or not is a different story.
Honestly, we don't know. Like, if we were to just say we sailed right and the Steadfast is to the left, we would have no idea what's on the other side to be able to say this could possibly be a center. So there's just not enough pieces.
Yep.
That's also to say that it's like radiating out, I guess. I meant more a center of like the focal point of where this is coming from.
Well, we were told that, you know, it will damage the Insidious choir if we can remove their presence here, but it will not end it.
Mm.
So like
We should taste for the tower. And being that I've actually been inside that tower, do I feel any, if I try to read magic, we're in a huge chasm now. Is there any way I can try and hone in on it?
On the tower itself?
Yeah.
What's your end goal?
Where do you want to go?
You want to discern direction.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Okay. I mean, so with Zariff in the party, you guys know where you are in the underground city, and you know how to get back to Devola. And from Devola, you more or less know how to get back out through the egg chamber. Whether there's a quicker route, you're not entirely sure. But you know that you're below the tower.
Question is, do we have to go see Devola? Like, you know,
we don't.
Here's the thing. Let me tell you a little bit about Devola, right? So we are no better than food for her babies.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we have the impossible blade, I don't think is really going to ingratiate us with her, because I think she'd be just as willing to kill us and take it for herself.
That's how Arri feels.
Like as like I think she's just as willing to do that than, you know, to let us go and potentially do her bidding for her.
Silica,
I don't trust her.
Silica, I am in 100% agreement with everything you just said.
But I want to clarify, she's not on the way, right? Like, we don't have to go through Devola's lair to get out of here.
You don't have to go through the lair.
Yeah. But I mean, we could. It's just we don't have to.
All right, so let's do everything within our power to circumnavigate as far as possible away from her and get out of here in the most expeditious route.
Okay. How do you do that?
Well, I've already found ways of, you know, getting up in buildings and using that to navigate. And we also have Wyloch's ability to kind of point in the right direction. So possibly using those two things, can we attempt to ascertain the best route?
Yes, you can. That was a good enough description to placate me, and you are able to notice the best route. However, I would like a searching difficulty 5 from Zariff and anyone else that wants to make it, and a Numenera difficulty 5 from Wyloch and anyone else who would like to make it. One would be, they'd both be intelligence level 5s if you don't have searching or Numenera.
Do we know why we're looking around?
No.
Because okay, then I probably don't look around then.
I think I failed, but you guys else rocked it. Yeah, I rolled crap. Why didn't it have? Oh, because I did the last roll before that. I'm like, why doesn't it have my name in front of the roll?
Because you were it just doubles down. Okay. Neat. Wyloch, something's different in the underground city. You feel a lack of Numenera here, as if something flipped an off switch.
I feel naked.
I don't even understand how it's possible. I mean, we're carrying 4 artifacts.
Mm-hmm. You still see them. They still seem to have lights on them, right? But you don't feel the
3.
The thrum, right? You don't feel the pull, the thrum, the whatever it is you get from those things. And you try to cast your web out there, and it extends for as far as you can push your mind to feel. Arri, you see in the distance, in a north and all northwest, all the way to west direction, tiny blue lights shimmering in the darkness.
Do I think they are a flame or some kind of magical light?
Roll me You know what? That's a 20. You think they
That is
are
a 20.
they are incredibly reminiscent of the spirits you saw in the rich quarter of the underground city that chased you right up until a Numenerian barrier appeared.
Ooh. Guys, I think we're about to have company, and it's not going to be pleasant.
Shink.
So, there is something seemingly coming for you. There is a lack of Numenera feeling around you. How quickly do you guys plan on escaping from this place?
Immediately.
Okay. I would like speed checks of difficulty 5 to get to sprinting.
Can I use
I will allow you to use your balancing.
I want to do like a dive, tumble, like launch myself into sprint.
You Usain Bolt off the starting line.
Can I use my jumping? Like I'm trying to just like thoroughly skip and hop.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You said 5, and we're allowed to use balancing?
Yep.
Do you have balancing too, Zariff?
I do.
I shouldn't be surprised.
Ooh, good one. Oh, bad one.
Well, I can only grab one person.
Okay.
Oh man. Wyloch, the dice do not like you tonight. Did my curse pass to you?
Maybe. Yeah, I trip and back into phase.
I will allow you to use your mini crit to give one person a reroll as you give them a hand and yank them forward.
Oh, well, I mean, I saw that Wyloch tripped, and that seems pretty serious. So I'm gonna let Wyloch. I'm gonna help him, since that's a pretty obvious stumble.
Okay. So Wyloch, you may reroll.
So
And
apparently,
succeed.
if you're watching the chat, there's apparently a Fury drinking game that's being started.
I like it. I like it. Write that down. Text that to me. Put it on Twitter. I'll make a graphic for it. So this is not a fail type of challenge. I mean, it could have been. This is a how fast you're able to run. Unfortunately, you're only as fast as your slowest person, unless you decide F that guy and leave him there. Currently, I believe your slowest person is Arri. Yes. So you guys are able to run, but you notice that these blue lights, as soon as Arri points them out to you, you notice that the blue lights are moving faster than you are, and they are closing in towards you. Where are you guys running towards? Are you running back toward Devola's tower? Or are you running straight for where you know that strange bridge was leading
Where the
up
strange bridge.
Okay, cool. So you guys are able to clamber through the myriad of destroyed buildings and upturned something or other and debris and detritus everywhere and these strange glowing cylinders that, if you recall correctly, were glowing this green kind of lava lamp situation, are no longer. They are glowing blue lava lamps. The flickering lights that look like billboards or television screens are also still flickering, and now as you pass by them you see what looks to be static and then a face shift and watch you move as something is clearly following you and knows you're going somewhere. You guys continue to run through this, and you make it back to the rickety bridge that you know will eventually lead, after hours of traversing it, will lead you back to the egg chamber. But at this point, you glance back behind you, and these blue lights are about 50 feet behind you. And you can see that they are not blue lights, and they are not spirits. They are what appear to be humanoid figures that are glowing blue and aggressively lumbering towards you guys. What do you do?
Are they moving as fast as us? Faster than us?
They are moving. They are currently moving faster than you. And if you had to guess right now, there's over 100 of them.
Go ahead.
Can we make it to the egg chamber?
You know that from where you are, it takes hours to get there, and you were led by Lily.
No. Okay.
So you can.
What
These
is
guys
no,
will
but we're
catch
not
up.
gonna outrun them to the egg chamber.
what is the terrain around us?
It's think about if a bomb went off in a city. That's kind of what it looks like. Just buildings collapsed everywhere, blown out buildings, shells of walls, things that you don't understand what they are, tipped over, overturned, just massive. There's just debris everywhere.
From scouting and my previous trip, is there like any kind of like choke point or area where we could go down that like we could kind of pinch them off and slow them so that we might be able to get some kind of advantage and get away faster?
Yes. The area, so essentially, when you came down, you left out of a tunnel and came across a catwalk that went over a wide chasm that led to Devola's. You essentially circumvented the chasm and have made your way back to the tunnel. The tunnel could act for as a choke point, but eventually they are moving faster than you and will catch up unless you have some way to prevent them from moving through that choke point.
So I thought you mentioned a bridge. Is there a bridge or?
There was a bridge. You guys have circumvented the bridge.
Okay, so we're in a tunnel.
You are out at the outskirts of the tunnel. Yeah, you could enter the tunnel right now and make a choke point if you so choose.
I yank out the flask of embalming fluid and turn to Zariff.
What the tunnel that we're in? What's the walls made out of?
Some kind of synth material.
All right, so not something that Mr. Arri here could break down and close behind us.
Not in a quick enough manner. Oh well, so not by hand in a quick enough manner that would get them. Stop them.
Did we have a chance?
What if Arri cracks it with his hammer and uses his gravity bomb Numenera to increase the gravity tenfold and have it hopefully collapse in on itself?
That would work.
Oh, I like that. That sounds awesome.
Ooh,
That would work.
science.
Cool. So I will take a difficulty 4.
Can I assist?
How?
I'm a glaive, and I like Ari's manhandling stuff, and I would like to assist him in manhandling stuff by woman.
You're not just gonna say go get him.
I could also verbally rouse him.
A rousing pep rally.
Slap his face a little bit. You got this. You got this.
Like on the cheeks. Come on, man.
Okay. So I'll ask this. How are you muscling in on this? He's essentially taking his hammer and breaking rocks right now. Silica seems like she's more finesse than brute strength.
Yeah, so I am, but where Arri is really ripping in on this material, I'm finding those structural iniquities and prying into them and sort of benefiting from Ari's hard work and helping along that way, finding those weaknesses and capitalizing on those.
Then yes, I will give you the assist for that one. So,
all right, how far away are these creatures
50
as
feet.
we're doing this? All right, so as he's doing this, every time his hammer swings down, I shoot over his shoulder to try and get whoever's in the lead.
Okay. So all right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have Arri. You're going to roll me difficulty 4 breaking stuff check with an asset from Silica. We'll see how that goes.
I will apply effort.
Okay.
And I get an assist.
Yep.
Or an
And
asset,
you're
sorry.
just trained in breaking stuff, right? You're not specialized in it.
I am trained in breaking inanimate objects. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Yep. So you're trained. You're spending effort, and you get an asset. Means you need like a 3 to succeed. Okay. Cool. So you succeed. Now, combined, describe to me, all of you, what this looks like as you're whipping arrows out. You're breaking this thing, throwing a graviton bomb, and your escape up the tunnel. Go nuts. It's the finale.
So I imagine that Arri is just like, these things are like licking our heels. So he's just, hammering like furious, into these spots, while Silica is like, pointing out, foot to the left, foot to the right, swing harder, pointing out all these things. Wyloch is standing there at just the right moment to throw the gravity bomb, since he's the one that's the most specialized in dealing with Numenera. And the whole time, every time his hammer comes past his shoulder, I fire an arrow, at the leading, glowing monster. And finally, there's enough debris and detritus there from the walls that the gravity bomb goes off, and it just kind of pulls in the area of the tunnel, cinching it off and stopping the things from being able to get to us.
So every
and we all
arrow
run away cackling maniacally.
So every arrow that embeds itself in one of these glowing blue humanoid husks, you hear this as they're struck and fall back. And if you're paying close enough attention, even though the ones you hit with arrows, you see them rise back up in this lurchy, jerky motion and begin trundling back towards you as you hit on and it falls to the ground.
The whole idea was just to slow them down.
Mm-hmm. Arri, you are smashing through the roof and walls trying to find a great place to put this graviton. What does it look like when you place the graviton, and what does it do?
So it's one of those things where I hit it several times, and then I get one sweet swing in, and it cracks up the side of the wall, and that's where I'm like, okay, now I can see that this is the structural integrity is broken. And so I put my metallic arm on there, and there's a little spider, I don't say little, about the size of a lobster or something, kind of crawls out of my arm, and it's this mechanical spider that's got a glowing blue butt. And it scuttles forward, and it kind of crawls, and it niches itself in this crack, and it digs as furiously as it can to get into this crack. And then I turn to everyone and I say, we need to run.
And Silica, what does it look like as you explode forward from the action scene as debris all around you?
Everybody knows that cool guys don't look back at explosions.
Yeah.
So everyone's got to be face forward, just hoofing it. Even Wyloch, who maybe isn't the most fit amongst us, probably looks pretty badass with this tunnel collapsing in behind us.
I'm smoking a cigarette. It's
no, she said probably looks badass.
Yes.
Probably.
He's the one that looks back. He's like, oh no. Oh, okay. So everything explodes. You see this this I imagine to be purple. I like purple. I don't know why. But you see this thing and it pulses out, and then you just see it smash into each other like a collider, and it just and gravity hits and just pulls the tunnel down around you as you guys are bursting forward from this tunnel. Dust is moving all around you as you explode out into a larger chamber, and this just cloud of just this plume of dust erupts around you, and you guys are able to cough and wheeze your way to a slight breather. As you know, have secured this area and possibly prevented everyone from ever going to see Devola again, if that's the only entrance.
Oh, good. I mean, oops.
Oh no! How do we get the brains out?
Wyloch, you are flooded with information as you burst through and the cave collapses. All of the feeling of Numenera that you had lost, this complete blanket of nothing, just floods back to you, and it's almost too much where you kind of almost fall out of phase as you regain your composure, feeling that there's people Numenera around you, there's the artifacts you guys have on you, there's this other stuff, and it's almost like you can feel more than before because you're feeling it all simultaneously. And as you kind of register all of this this Numenera that's happening around you, your eyes kind of roll back in your head, and you see the inside of the tower again, and it's pulsing, and as you look down you can see that sun-shaped symbol, and as you kind of look up you can see that sun-shaped symbol, and almost like Zordon from the Power Rangers, a large blue face emanates in front of you, and you can see its eyes kind of scan and look at you, and no one else sees this, just Wyloch, and you hear ringing in your head in electric buzzes and crackles, "You don't need to do this."
Do what?
"You shouldn't stop the choir. You could help us. We will better the world for you."
I must confess, in our time so far, I see kin in you. Tell me more about how we can improve the world.
Roll me a Numenera level 5. No one can help.
I don't want to help this. I mean, we don't know what's going on.
Whew.
You see, that was close. You see at first what looks like utopia, but you can also see that it's slightly askew, as if you're looking at a picture and another picture, and one is slightly ajar from the other one. And as you're trying to like peel back the layers of this insidious onion, you see that the layer beyond, the one that's covering this up, is the polar opposite. You see cities in ruin. You see these blue veins of whatever the hell this is coming out of mountains. It's like it now permeates the land itself. You see that there are, you see the ocean has stopped flowing and this data line just streams across this. And as you look on the horizon, there are just beams of light hitting up towards the sky. Where they go, you have no idea. But it is not a picture of bliss. Seems like a very bad time.
Where is your heart currently?
That's a good question. I like that. I like the way you phrase that too.
That was beautiful.
You see, so you know what, I will say with that success, you see that it dims, as if to like stop you from seeing more, and the last image you see is a strange mountain in the distance with a strange mechanical creature inside, looking like a large caterpillar.
It doesn't appear to be like in the egg.
It does
like
not
back
appear
on
to be the egg.
Probably somewhere on the mainland.
Or a mainland.
A mainland. Okay. The face is still there? Or?
The face is there, but all the vision around you has been like cut off, and all you see is the blue face kind of scowling down towards you.
Okay. As I said, I see kin in you, and on the image that they've just shown me, that clearly sounds like something that's out of phase. So I'm going to refocus, and my mouse isn't working, and join them in the 8th dimension.
Okay.
And then I say, it seems you've established a bulkhead here. The best place to destroy this weapon should be with your own energies. Where are you now on this island?
Okay. I'm going to give you an asset for that, but this is going to be an intelligence level 4 to try to convince this guy.
So what do we see? Is Wyloch just sort of like having a seizure on the ground? Or
no,
like
so it's
or is it just happening so fast?
So it's not any less weird than Wyloch is normally, right? So you guys burst forth from the tunnel, this plume of smoke just sort of erupts, and as it settles, and you guys are coughing and wheezing, and like, you know, one of you's like bent over on you, like, you know, hands on the knees, and you guys kind of take that first breather, you see that Wyloch is stuck still, and he is looking off in the distance vacantly, and then you see nothing for a while, he doesn't respond, and then his whole body shifts phase just slightly. As if he's looking for something. And that is a success. You, in this phase, are taken what you perceive to be up, like you feel like an upward motion happening, and the face matches with you. So it's hard to tell, because no matter if you look down or not, you still see that symbol, and if you look up, you see that symbol, but you feel like you're moving up. And you feel like you're moving up for a long time. And then you find yourself standing on top of a synth platform, and as you look out, you see blue all around you, and it looks like ocean, maybe? It doesn't look like a current of Numenera or a current of whatever this thing is. You look like you're seeing some kind of land, and in front of you is some kind of massive Numeneran device that just rises into the sky.
And do I have, I'm not saying this, do I have confidence this is the top of the tower in Delorme?
Yes, you could make that assumption for sure. Given the information you have, you're pretty sure that that's where this could be.
Okay. I'll make arrangements to bring this weapon. We'll destroy it together when the time comes. In the meantime, I have one more question. What is the Goralan?
I wonder if this thing has knowledge of that. So you feel the opposite feeling. You feel like you're plummeting, like that, like elevator drop that makes your innards jump to your throat, and it's rapid. And you are plunged into like this dark blue abyss, and you can feel pressure all around you. And the face sort of dims, and where the face dims, you see what you assume to be some kind of creature. But it is this like 12-inch long brownish purple creature with an infinitesimal number of legs on it.
Okay. Not sensing much of an answer. I sort of, being that it's not all verbal communication, I sort of give the impulse that I'm ready to leave.
Okay. You feel like that crushing pressure sort of leave, and you feel like you might be back in like that central chamber bubble that you started in. And it looks to you again and says, "We can better your world." And then you see it like blip, like a TV just turned off. And you are back, and your friends, you can hear coughing and someone saying, "Wyloch."
Okay.
Wyloch, you all right?
Yes, I've seen it. It thinks that I'm allied with it. I also know how to scale the tower when we get there. So I'm hoping that when the time comes, maybe we'll have some sort of asset for scaling or destroying or doing whatever we want to do. But hopefully I've gained something from that experience. Anyways, for now, I've bought us some time, and it thinks that we're allied. So.
Well, that's well done.
I'm sorry, what?
What did you see?
I saw a literal deus ex machina.
Those are mighty big words.
That's true. You did see a literal god in the machine.
It was a face, a large face, but that wasn't really it. It was just the visage it chose to show me. And it showed me the future that it plans for this world. It's not pretty.
How does the sword stop it?
I feel like I'll know when we're there.
Good enough for me.
We need
Not good enough for me, but I guess we don't have much of a choice.
I trust Wyloch.
Okay. So you guys continue to wend your way up through this massive tower structure back to the egg chamber?
Yes, how do I feel can I tell you how I feel as we get closer to the egg chamber?
Yes.
Not happy.
I
don't want to go.
Not happy. Okay.
Yeah, Silica. So all of a sudden, Mr. Pickle starts piping up in the back of Silica's mind, and I just don't want to spend any time here.
Yeah, it's almost as if you kind of forgot about it, having been so far away for so long, that it didn't really like process in your head until you started getting closer, and the motherly instinct to protect the clutch began to creep back into the base of your mind. And at first it was like, oh, I have to protect my friends. That's fine. I'm good at that anyway. And then like as you get closer and closer, it's like, oh no, it's not. I have to protect my family. Oh, that's also fine. Oh no, I have to protect and it just escalates more and more.
And I don't like it because I like side eyeing Arri and his hammer, the newly acquired bigger hammer.
Yeah.
So
I must protect the clutch.
What is the current terrain as we're getting closer and closer to the clutch?
It's a mixed bag between strange synth tunnel and then it like will emerge. Like think about like a subway, right? Like so it's like strange tunnel and then it like breaks out into like larger open areas. And you're pretty sure it was like you see other tunnels splinter off, but collectively you guys are fairly certain you guys can navigate back the way the lily took you. So you know, like once you emerge into one of these open areas, you know which tunnel it was that she went up through.
All right. Well, as you know, when we get to one of these, you know, open area stuff, and I see that, you know, Silica is kind of getting that twitch in her step, that twitch in her eye, And I kind of walk up and, best way to protect the clutch is to do as Devola asks. The choir must be destroyed.
I mean, yes, I agree with that. I'm not losing Silica faculties. I'm just gaining stupid Mr. Pickle faculties.
I'm just there as a reminder.
Yep. It's gonna be fine. But
fine.
let's move through quickly. Have we seen any sign of the lily, like the blue goo
Dots.
or anything like that?
You have not.
No sign of. Okay.
Nope.
We also haven't really been looking for it either, but
That's true. Nothing jumps out at you as obvious. Like there's no glaring, like big glowing blue somethings, right? So you guys make your way, and it is a tiresome journey, and you're always kind of glancing back over your shoulder, waiting for one of these blue things to kind of erupt from the area here. But eventually, you guys make your way unscathed, fortunately, back to the egg chamber, and you see that it is devoid of defenders.
Panic. What? Where is everybody? There's no defenders. Are there eggs?
There are eggs.
Is everything okay? So the eggs are okay.
And you see that, so you've been here several times before, so you have a fairly good, shape and size of what things are going on. You see that there are still corpses. There are still a large egg and a small egg, and most of the small eggs are still enclosed. There are the ones that were broken from the fight you guys had. There are the ones that were broken from the wall of the ice bomb that exploded. But there seemed to be an appropriate number, you'd guess, on a quick count of the same guys that are attached to your back, right? But there are no people here, including Pelu.
Yes, Pelu.
But there's still eggs to protect.
There are still eggs to protect.
So Pelu wouldn't have left.
Not willingly.
Not willingly. But
eggs aren't really my concern, so my plan was to just keep walking.
You can keep walking.
Walk carefully.
Yep.
I'm going to, do everything I can to protect the eggs.
Yep. You guys can all walk carefully back towards the area in which you know is the exit. However, you do notice a growing sense of dread in Silica.
Yeah, this is not great. There are no defenders here. Pelu's gone. Man, I wonder who would have come looking for Pelu and taken Pelu away. That biatch. I don't like her. Taurus or Libra or Scorpio or whatever her name is, and I don't want to leave the what? I don't want to leave the clutch. I'm not leaving. I can't leave the clutch. I can't leave the clutch.
That one got me. That was good. Good.
So, I'm slowing down. Like they're moving ahead of me. I'm kind of looking around. The clutch does not have a defender. There's no Lily. There's no Pelu. There's no other 3 zombie guys who were here before that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'll try to reiterate what Zariff was saying, that there's no island if we don't stop the Insidious choir. Your eggs are at a higher level of jeopardy than just no one protecting them right now.
I mean, he makes a really good point. Devola did want us to take care of this. That biatch too. I don't like either of them. Logic. Is the logic working?
You tell me. If it works for you, then it works for me. I can have you guys roll off if you'd like to do that, to take the decision-making process off for you guys. But if you want to role play out the communication of him convincing you and you bending or breaking, you let me know.
There's just, okay, one last thing though, but like what happens if I know there's nobody here and it's like the babies, it's like walking away from an unattended child and you know the child is unattended. What if something happens in the meantime to the clutch, even though we're going to take care of the Insidious choir?
The child can move and do on its own. These eggs are not hatched, and they know what to do once they do hatch. It is up to you if you think standing here and waiting for something to happen will best serve your master, or if doing as the literal master has asked you to do, and that is destroy the Insidious choir. It's up to you which is the best suiting of your needs.
And then I
Just
step
got
up
sassed by Zariff.
and I hold a hand out and I cast Hedge Magic, and sort of like a little 8x8-inch display, a short movie. It's this cavern, and then there's these tendrils of blocky blue code that start to cover everything. And I say, if we tarry any longer, this entire place will be consumed by chaos.
That does it.
Okay. So you are able to tear yourself away begrudgingly.
It's
From-
hard, but
from your
I
duties.
manage.
Yeah. You are able to do so, and you begin to climb up this like slip and slide of vertical synthetic metal tunnel, and you eventually get back to the acid scarred door, and you see that you are emerging into daylight. Fortunately for you. You are emerging into daylight, and it's at first it's like one of those like, oh god, that super bright light as you guys see daylight for the first time in so long. Zariff, you are immediately as uncomfortable as you choose to be, forced back out in the sunlight. But you guys emerge into the forest of the island of Undoing. Where are you guys going?
Can we see the tower from where we're at?
Not through the trees, but you know the direction of where it should be.
Okay.
So that's where we're going.
You know that if you basically leave the tunnel and just go straight, you'll eventually hit the city.
That's the direction we go.
All the doors seem to face the tunnel, the tower.
There is another possibility if we wanted to give Chieftain Barnum and Bailey a heads up that we're coming so that he knows. We do have the beacon cipher. We can send a signal to the city.
What does that do again? It just tells them that we sent a signal?
It's a communication device. So whatever that means.
We
We're
can
not
talk.
really
Can we like Morse code? Beep, beep, beep.
I don't
beep,
think he
beep.
told you what it does specifically.
He did not.
He told you that it was a beacon. So until you fire this thing off, or activate it rather, you won't know exactly what it does.
So do we risk it because we are going to need to get into the tower?
I will say what you can infer from here is that he gave it to you under the guise of you being Carol's and being kicked out of the city. So whatever it does, you would hope it must be discreet.
Right.
Fuck it. It's the finale. Hit it.
That's how I look at things.
Okay. So, kind of discreetly look around, make sure there aren't any other, because somebody's obviously been here at some point recently. So I kind of discreetly look around. Do I see anybody who might be peeking?
You don't see
and keeping
anyone.
an eye out.
Nope.
Okay.
You see nothing.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just stick my hand in my pocket, which is now disgustingly dirty and full of all kinds of things, and hit that beacon cipher.
Okay, so at first it sounds like that weird electronic buzz when you turn on an old TV, that like beep, that sort of just hits you in the back of the ear and you're like, that's uncomfortable. And then you feel like a vibrate and like this thrum in your pocket, and if you pull out the device, it's glowing, and it flashes, and like it looks like a what you, Kenny, would know as like a hologram projector kind of pops up. Think like Black Panther. Little beams that kind of skitter out, and you see the outline of what could be a face, and then it like scatters and shuts back off.
I think we have made contact. I don't know, Wyloch? I look at Wyloch. It's Numenera. I'm not really sure. So I'm just sort of...
I think they hung up.
Well, I mean, if it's supposed to send a signal to say, hey, we're coming, then, maybe that means somebody who knows a thing or two will be at the gates to be able to let us in.
Can I climb a tree? I want to see if there's like smoke or anything coming from that area, like of the tower.
You may climb a tree.
Okay, I climb a tree.
You are easily able to climb the tree. Now roll me a searching or intelligence 3.
Wah wah.
So you climb the thing and you're trying to get your heading, but there is a large canopy before you that expands. You can see where there's kind of a break in the canopy. You're fairly sure that's the town. And as far as you can tell, no smoke rises up above that. But you're not sure because you don't really see the tower sticking out above the trees, which you should see.
Okay. So I relay that I'm like, I'm not really seeing the tower, even though we know that the tower's supposed to be there. Not sure what's going on, but I feel like we should hustle.
All right, let's hustle. Get back down here.
Okay. So you guys, he slides down the tree, you guys regroup, and you head directly towards the center of the island, or at least what you presume to be the center of the island, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Let's see here. Who gets it today? Let's say Arri. You know what? No, let's say Zariff. Zariff, take an XP.
Oh, damn it.
Why, thank you.
And give one to whoever you'd like.
Well, you were going to give one to Zariff, so I'll give one to him as well.
You're Zariff, but that's fine. I know you meant Arri.
Sorry, I mean,
I do it all the time. Welcome to my nightmare. Cool. As you guys slowly, I assume quietly and cautiously approach the edge of the forest, you see that the synth metal something structures that form the walls are rent in upon themselves. All of them.
Lovely. So I mean,
an attack?
All of the walls seem to have been crunched like soda cans.
I mean, it makes it easy to get in. Forget the gate. I'm going to go in right here.
How strong was that grav pod?
Not this strong. Not this strong.
I don't think that was.
But I'm flattered.
It was Ari's device there, Wyloch.
Oh, so I hoof it extra fast now because these people had shown us, I mean, something that resembled hospitality. We had made a promise to them to deal with the Carols, and that led us into this whole mess with the Insidious choir. And so I'm kind of, as Silica does, without any heed to any danger, just kind of bulldozing in.
Okay. The first thing you notice that would give you pause as you sort of leap and bound into the city is that hanging on one of the rent-in pieces of metal that formed the wall is a blue hood, similar to the one I believe you are all wearing now. Except for Ted or Zariff.
Zariff has his black cloak on, the one that's waterproof. The blue one is in his bag.
Yeah. So you see that there is one blue hood sort of hooked on a shard of metal, just sort of waving in the breeze like a flag. As you bound over, who's following Silica into...
I'm right there with her.
Okay. I'm with it.
So.
Cool.
Into the danger.
You see, I would say something none of you are fully prepared for. None of you are soldiers or have been to war, but what you see before you is a scene of an atrocity. But it's not just dead bodies. You've seen dead bodies before. These are, like, missing large portions of them. And as you kind of look closely, you can see that they're severed, and the one half of the sever is missing, and the part that touches the skin, the sliced part, is thrumming with blue energy. So, like, someone will have, like, a splinched arm, and that arm is gone, and you see blue traces going around the hole where his arm should be.
As if it were cut off by, like, a lightsaber, like a cauterized...
Yes.
Okay.
Just like
gotcha.
that. Just like that.
And I recognize this as choir particles.
You do.
All right. So, as fun and interesting as all of this is, how close are we to the tower?
As close as you want to be. You see this as you're running by. You're pretty sure you saw one of the twins. You see Barnum and Bailey, and you're just kind of booking it through. And you see that all of the buildings around the tower have been decimated, and they're also sliced in a similar fashion. Several of the other outer buildings are also sliced in that same way. And you feel that, like, that vibration is back and far stronger than it was when you left. Well, I mean, it was not there at all when you left, but it is far stronger than it was when you were here and it was active.
When we first started it.
Mm-hmm.
So looks like some stuff's gone down. All right, Wyloch, we got tower, we got sword. What's the next step?
All right. So this is like the blue weaved wall kind of material
Yep, and you know there's a small slit somewhere in here.
in the wall.
Mm-hmm. Actually, yeah, you would know. Zariff and Arri told you about it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because we went around and meticulously, like, we're looking for openings and doors and stuff.
Oh, so you know where it is.
Yeah, it's right there. No, your other left. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Right.
Is it still a small slit, or has it gotten bigger?
It is still a small slit.
Can we use the blade?
Who's got the
to cut it
blade?
larger?
I have
Silica.
the blade. My blade.
Can Silica, can you use the blade to cut the hole bigger?
I mean, the cerulean brain said it was like a key, a tool. I can try to see what it does to this material. So I just happened to have it on me, and I put what looks like the tip just into the rend in the material and try to slice it like a cake.
It slices like silk, up as high as you slice,
right.
and it just sort of peels away and unfurls, and you see void like Vanta Black inside this thing.
After you, Wyloch.
I've done this before. Just remain calm once you get in there. Everyone with me. And then forward.
Hand on shoulder.
You find plenty of room in the sphere of annihilation.
So you guys all hand on shoulder and one by one conga line into this thing, and from the people behind, what it looks like is he just steps into darkness, and it envelops him, and just as he passes into it, it passes around him, and you see nothing of Wyloch. And then your hand is there, Silica, as your hand passes through, and you see nothing of your hand. You don't even feel your hand as it's passed through here. You can't feel the grabbing onto Wyloch. You can't even feel that there's anything connected to that as you kind of take that and step into it, and you lose...
I'm holding my breath.
Oh yeah, you lose all feeling, and it passes down the line.
I go next
until it gets to Zariff. Zariff, you feel the same sensation, and Arri, what hand is on Zariff's shoulder?
That would be the metal hand.
Okay. You feel intense sensation as you slide into this Vanta Black perma-darkness. You feel as if you have every synapse firing in your arm all at once. Imagine your arm being crushed under a boulder without your pain receptors dulling and going into shock. You feel everything that happened to your arm turning it to metal or to synth happening again, just forever. In this cyclical loop, as you are now all standing in nothingness, and you all feel that lurch in the pit of your stomach as something drags you upwards. And for what seems like you're not sure, everything happens so fast. It's that weird Star Wars like light speed sort of jump where like you see like lights passing you by. You're not sure if that's the daylight cycles you're not sure if this was seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, as you're just permanently just lurching up into the air, and all of it stops, and as you sort of resettle, you have that vertigo-like spin, and you are on some kind of platform facing a massive Numeneran device, and as you look out, you see what you hope is the ocean around you, and very, very far below you, you see a small speck that looks like a white flower.
So while we were going up, I was, trying to be like, all right, I'm going to take, long, slow, deep breaths, not to try and count how long I was in here, but just, enacting the Zariff level of patience that sometimes you need to do to, be ready for something or what have you. So hoping that, maybe, just maybe, he's able to recover just slightly faster and be able to get a good view of, what's going on around me.
Okay, so you go like full zen. So I will allow you, as everyone sort of spins and adjusts, you will have adjusted ahead of time, right? And I will allow you to make me a searching check if you so choose. And what are you searching for? Just around the device, the outside, below you? Where are you looking?
I want to get a as good a grasp on my surroundings as possible. I'm imagining this is kind of end game here. Like we're dealing with all right, insert blade, end quest, go home, save the day.
Sure. Could be.
You said 5, sir?
I didn't actually. But yes, it will be. No, it'll be a 4. Only because of how far away from everything you are. Okay, so you train your keen eyes out. The first thing you notice is like this expanse of blue around you, and this small white flower, this white like lotus, like so far beneath you, which you assume could be the island itself. Meaning you are infinitesimally high above above everything. In fact, it takes a second for you to realize that part of the blue is darker and more turbulent than the rest of it, and that it is in fact the storm and not the actual ocean. But the storm kind of enshrouds like this massive donut, and then you can see the ocean extend beyond that, and then eventually you hit like horizon and you can't see anything beyond that. There are no clouds where you are. Everything is clear blue except for this massive, writhing leviathan of a storm around you. And you stand before this strange, judging by what Wyloch said, Numeneran device that looks like... It looks like there are like a myriad of levers and pulleys and like consoles, and you see these glass screens, and scaffolding runs out of it at crazy like different angles that extend even higher up into where you are, and you see that there's these massive round like plate like dishes. There's these needles that jab out of this thing, and it seems to be just covered in some kind of antenna in every direction, as if beaming something somewhere.
Oh, we got HQ.
So the rest of you spin to your senses, and you find yourselves atop this. And you see a similar sight. You see this scaffolding rising up, and you see this writhing mass of blue far, far, far beneath you. What are you guys doing?
Are we on a clear platform that we can see below?
You are on a clear platform, and there's nothing below the platform. There's no, like, tunnel, there's no tower, it's just this platform and nothingness.
I'm just going to grab Ari's shoulder, not to manhandle him, but to study him, because I've realized after our many adventures together that Arri and heights don't agree.
Yeah, he doesn't like it.
I'm going to take a moment to just kind of study him. That's like my first concern.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how big this platform is, but we could be near an edge.
The platform is probably from side to side. It's probably like 50 feet across.
Okay.
It's a massive platform. And the central whatever the hell this thing is takes about 30 feet of that. So it's about 20 feet from the machine, from the Numeneran device to the edge, around in a circle.
Okay.
What's my arm doing?
Dangling. Just there.
Dangling?
Yeah,
Can I move it?
Yep, you have full access to it.
Okay.
It feels normal now. It doesn't. Not all of your synapses are firing at the same time. It's whatever that was. Sort of.
Oh my god! I thought you were gonna make it like fall off or something.
Just
have like an arm club with my other hand.
Just severed off. No. Yeah. You have regained feeling. It now feels like when you're like a limb falls asleep. You have that tingle sensation running down, that cool tingling sensation running down your entire arm. But you are able to move it. It just like springs of pain when you move it. Like that tingling sensation like amplifies. But you have control of your arm.
I probably put my hand on Silica's hand that's on my shoulder, and I'm like kind of trembling, trying to like regain my courage.
The biggest dude with the giant metal arm.
Yeah.
He's just terrified of heights. It's awesome.
So I have to say I'm inclined to say Arri smash.
But before we get too hasty,
maybe we should figure out what this is before we decide if we smash it and it kills us all.
Well,
Because we drop to the ground at an incredible height.
Yeah, there's that. But
There's that, you know. little
Ari's like,
thing.
I don't want to drop from this height. But it sounded like Wyloch had some sort of. I kind of look over to Wyloch like this is kind of his
domain
thing. And I, had mentioned that the sword is a key. We learned that from the Illuminati brains.
But was that merely the key to get into the tower, or is there more to it?
Or is the sword a switch and it'll turn it off?
Did I glean any of that from my experience before?
You did not, because you didn't ask anything like that. You just said, "Where is your heart?" and that you would destroy the sword.
All right.
When you
I reach up to my gemstone and I gradually start to pull it out. And as it pulls out, there's like a shimmering, and my forehead's intact. There's no hole or anything, but it looks like a perfect princess cut diamond this big, and it's blue.
Mm-hmm.
I then shift out of phase, and I'm able, because of my experience before, am I able to communicate with it, maybe telepathically, or at least give impulses? If I believe that this machine houses the Insidious choir, can I communicate with the Insidious choir?
How do you plan to do so? Shifting out of phase isn't going to cut it this time. So how do you plan to communicate through or with or from your gem?
It wasn't going to be through the gem.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember what it felt like during that vision a short while back.
Yep.
And the kinds of ley lines you need to pull in the 8th dimension to communicate with something like this, a techno something.
Okay. Roll me a Numenera, difficulty 4.
What difficulty?
4.
4. Effort, yes, please.
As you shift out of phase, you see a subtle change in the device. Nothing really of note until your eyes cast down upon the hexagonal shape that fits the outer edge of your gem, as if socket was waiting for it.
Okay. So I say, and at the same time that I'm communicating this way, I'm also saying it out loud, so in real space they can hear me.
Mm-hmm.
I've brought the instrument of heresy, and I'm motioning to Silica, who's holding the impossible blade. You still have it, right?
Yeah, I still have it.
I've brought the instrument of heresy as promised. Expose now your heart, spit forth your magnificence, will refactor it through this, intensify it, and destroy the weapon. And in real space, I'm giving Silica a look like wait for the moment, be ready to strike, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Are you placing the gem in the socket, or are you just holding the gem up?
No, I'm asking it to. I'm not necessarily trusting the socket. I said, show me your heart, spit forth your magnificence. I'll amplify it through this, and we'll destroy the weapon of heresy.
You see, in fact, it might even nauseate Arri. You see ring pulses of light just whoop, 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 up this column, this invisible column of nothing, seemingly originating, it's too far to really figure it out, but seemingly originating from the island, and then they hit the clear disc you guys are on, and then as it, like, you just see it, and you can kind of feel the concussive impulse of it hitting, and then it sort of spreads across the glass, and it's like one of those balls you touch, and like the lightning kind of hits your fingers. It hits, and then it spiders across the translucent disc here, and then after they stop, there's like 10 or 11 of them just sort of, actually there's 8 of them that hit the thing in rapid succession and splinter across. You then feel this thrum, and everyone feels it, and it's like electricity. Like, you can feel the hair on the back of your arms and neck sort of rise, and then you hear this sort of thrumming emerge, and then you hear like this signal kind of noise, that TV ringing in the back of your ear thing, and I think Zariff, roll me, actually everyone who's looking around, roll me a difficulty 3 searching.
I don't like this.
Okay, so Wyloch, you are too in tune and focused on the gem and communicating out of phase. Arri, you are probably eyes closed, incredibly shut, trying not to hurl. The rest of you are looking around, and you can see as you hear the pulses hit and this weird, ear-piercing, shrill noise, you see that the dishes and some of the needles sticking out slightly move as if calibrating, as if sending signals. That's all that happens.
We need to destroy those aerials, dudes.
Yeah, they know we're here. I don't like it. But I'm waiting for Wyloch's signal because Wyloch has communicated to me like pretty much telepathically that he's got a plan, that I'm supposed to wait for a signal to. But the blade is not a blade. It's not a weapon. It's a key and it's a tool. So we don't know.
Yep. So I've been communicating.
Chainsaw is a tool too, you know. Just saying.
I've started sweating bullets because I don't understand what they're doing at this point. I know I don't want to put it in the socket and fulfill what it wants and release the choir to the entire world. So I've started sweating profusely.
But you're holding still?
Yes.
Okay, so I am going to circle around and try to find a way to disrupt this. So my understanding is when we've seen in the Yesterglass and all these things, these sort of, it's a web-like thing, but it is enough, I think, like the code that we see with the Impossible Blade that I can tell that they are not compatible, even though they are of like thing.
Yep.
So I think if not that I want to try to attack the device because it's not like a physical attack. It's like a virus. I think Wyloch used the word virus.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see if there's some sort of slot.
I was going to ask for the same thing.
Yeah, I want Zariff. I want Zariff to help me find a slot.
What about the slot that is already there that is trying to accept his crystal?
Only Wyloch can see that one, and he hasn't mentioned it to any of you.
Damn it.
Yep. Only Wyloch can see that, and it only existed when he shifted out of phase. So whatever this is exists on multiple wavelengths. So I will say, because you're both searching, I will give one assist to whoever wants to actually make the search roll. You can either give an assist, or you can both roll separately. Either way, it's a difficulty 4 searching check. Let me know which ones you want to do.
What do you want to do?
I think we'll have better luck if we search separately, but
okay.
I think we should. Yeah, I think we should both search.
Okay, so difficulty 4 from each of you.
Do you both have searching?
Yes, Zariff does,
Zariff
but this, I think, just getting the roll, like doubling the roll, I think is better than just one assisting the other.
Okay.
Mini crit.
Oh, good. Glad you got it.
Okay. So Wyloch, you are standing there sweating profusely, holding this thing, and you've shifted back into normal phase space. Arri, you are holding down whatever lunch you may have left in your body somewhat successfully. So, congrats on that.
Thank you.
As Silica and Zariff circle this glass disc looking over this machine. Silica, unfortunately, this is too strange. This is beyond any kind of comprehension. You're pretty sure this might even be beyond Wyloch's comprehension. This is the most elaborate kind of thing you've seen. I get that
impression.
Yeah, there's like dials and levers, and it's in languages and letters you've never seen before. There's like things running over the screens that you've never seen before, and every once in a while, those blue lines just sort of beam down and hit the glass disc, or in reverse, beam up and just spiral up the scaffolding. Zariff.
Yeah.
You see that there is a conical shape to this, and what looks like a solid piece of Numeneran device is actually several pieces, like terminals, and what looks like it forms like a solid piece at the top. You notice upon like trying to carefully like climb and adjust yourself, you see that there is they meet and form a hexagonal symbol in the top, it just sort of dips down maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches, seemingly the shape of the gem that Wyloch. Wyloch, you will notice that that is not the same place as the one you saw.
So, Silica, I think it's up here.
So I I'm short in this world. So I kind of jump, holding myself on Zariff's shoulder, jumping up and looking at it. And I'm like, I'm looking at the impossible blade, and the shape doesn't match, but if I focus my mind on the blade, can I make it fit? Can I exert any will over the form?
I like where your head's at, but
no, it's not a thing.
It doesn't appear to shift. No matter what you try to focus on it, and unlike the tentacle in the back of Zariff's head, it doesn't seem to waver with your thoughts. It seems to be just the shape of a blade, as if it was made to be that.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to be controllable energy or data or a stream of consciousness. It appears to be this shape for some purpose.
I don't think that's what we're looking for. But I pointed out to Wyloch anyways. Wyloch, do you know what this is?
I take a look over. Is there anything that I can glean from my experiences so far in my gem? I see the one in real space. I see the one that's out of phase.
Yeah. So you notice that I misspoke. You notice that the first one is hexagonal, the one that is you saw out of phase. This one you see is octagonal and actually perfectly meets the facets of your gem. And on each of the triangular axes of the hexagon is a small square towards the top, as if like the symbol with the sun.
Okay,
can you parse that out one more time for those of us who are not good at retaining facts?
Remember the symbol of the sun with
right.
the zigzag in it? How there were 8 squares around it?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
This indent looks like the inverse of a gem, right? It has 8 sides, and at the top of each 8th side there is a square, almost matching the symbol of the sun on Arri's arm.
And it looks like with the number of facets, it would be a perfect fit for...
Yes. Yep, whereas the previous one had too few facets.
Okay. Considering that this thing appeared to be a stopper in a bottle before, metaphorically, I'm going to walk over and sort of look around as if to put it in. I've relayed that that's what this was, right? That
we saw it. Yeah, we saw it in the Yester glass. That uncorking it, as you put it, seemed to have let this out. There's no guarantee that putting this cork back in stop it.
Does this machine look anything like the box that he pulled the thing out of?
Not remotely. Nope. This looks like nothing anyone has ever seen before. Well, except for Wyloch, who kind of saw
with the impossible blade.
Touch what?
I want to touch Wyloch's gem with the impossible blade. And because
never crossed the streams.
I'm still stuck on this idea of like a virus, and if there's a way to infect the gem with whatever kind of information is flowing through the impossible blade, then if we put it back in, that might do something?
That sounds brilliant to me. Infect the gem and then insert the gem.
Cool, let's do it. So I take, yes.
Okay.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
As she's approaching with the blade, I suddenly have a moment of almost like withdrawal. This has been out of my head for a little bit. I'm already starting to lose some of the secrets of the universe that I had, and I'm kind of feeling like I want it back.
Wyloch. I
Stop.
see him like
I
pull.
step
He's
back.
like pulling away from me. I'm like, Wyloch, honey.
I step back 2 more steps.
Wyloch, you know that if you give the gem over to the Insidious Choir, that you'll have all the knowledge in the world. They did offer you Euphoria, Utopia.
I start trying to make eye contact with Arri, please. Arri.
Mm-hmm. Arri
I'm
gets
like,
up.
How are you feeling, buddy? And I'm like kind of like head twitching towards Wyloch as he's stepping back from me.
And I try to walk around the opposite side to get behind Wyloch, perhaps.
I'm stepping back, and I'm actually circling back around the machine, and then I'm gonna lurch. I'm gonna lurch for the socket.
Which one? The one on top?
The one where we believe it's a perfect fit. So I'm gonna try and make a lurch for it.
Okay. Is anyone trying to stop him from doing that? Okay. Everyone is trying to stop him? Okay. I will say... Oh, man. How to do this.
I'm trying. Here's caveat. I'm not trying to stop him so much as I'm trying to hit the gem with the impossible blade first.
Okay.
And I'm trying to stop him, trying to grab his arm.
And Zariff, are you trying to stop him as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I will say... this was going to be a difficulty 2 to leap up there. The 2 of you trying to grab him and prevent him from leaping up there. This will make this a speed defense level 4 for you, Wyloch, to try to get that in there.
Is this a contest? Is what they call a contested roll?
It would be contested, but what I want to do is for each of the person who is trying to grab you, I'm just going to step up your roll by a difficulty. So it went from a difficulty 2 to a difficulty 4. So roll a speed difficulty 4 to try to outmaneuver your allies and get this gem in the socket.
I spend an experience points, so he has to re-roll that.
Wait, can we make it work like that?
I will allow that one time.
All right.
Just because this is a very unique roll and it's the finale. So roll twice, you essentially have disadvantage.
Gotcha.
So Arri like smacked him.
I just wanted it to be interesting. I kind of hope I fail.
Okay. Man, it's good that you didn't roll in that one. Okay, so Arri, just since you spent the XP, describe how you grab him.
I think my human arm goes around his waist and pulls him.
Yep.
And my robotic arm reaches up and tries to get the gem out of his hand.
Okay.
As my metallic arm is falling off.
Okay. I will say, yeah, because of your sheer strength, you are able to grab him and pry that out of his hand, like especially with the metal hand, right? You're just going to crush a little bit, and he kind of releases. And you have the gem in your hand, and it's sort of a struggling, Gollum-esque.
Does it do anything?
Wyloch.
Does it interact with my arm at all? Or
It does not seem to, no.
Okay. And I look at Silica, and I'm like, anytime now.
Okay, yeah. So I before Wyloch,
I'm trying to hold Wyloch back.
twirl himself free of these guys. I walk over and just with the tip of the impossible blade, touch it to the large face of the diamond, and I would like to say something while I'm doing it.
Okay.
I don't think it matters, but we may not be able to completely eradicate the Insidious choir here, but we will do our duty to our country, nay, our world. And I hereby pledge to spend the rest of my days in pursuit of their end. And I
touch the blade to the
and I do
thing.
it.
Because today is our Independence Day.
So the moment you touch the blade to the largest facet of this gem, you see the same kind of code run into the gem, and you are able to almost fully plunge the blade into it. You do see it appear on the other side, completely unharmed, and when you retract the blade, all of the code goes with it.
So
it had an effect, but you're not sure if it was lasting.
All of the code goes with it. So is the gem inert?
It seems like the gem... How to explain this without giving it away?
Can we put the gem and the sword in together?
You could, or one at a time. Entirely up to you. So what you gain from this, Silica, especially not being well versed in the way like intricate Numenera works, and Wyloch's clearly in no shape to help you right now. The blade did in fact interact with the stone. Whether it was in the way you hoped, you're not sure because there was no end result, right? Until you kind of plug it in. But you notice that when you pulled it out, all of the code came with it. As if maybe there isn't a receptacle for the code. The gem might not be the final place for the code.
Okay, so I like Zariff's idea of putting them in together because I'm still leery of having it just go in its pure Wylochian form with all the secrets of the universe. So I want Arri and, well, Zariff's holding down Wyloch. So I want Ari's help so we can like maneuver, because, you know, one hand, he's holding the gem and I'm holding the sword as we kind of.
So to be fair, both Arri and Zariff are kind of pinning Wyloch right now.
Wyloch, honey, are you going to calm down anytime soon? Because we have a job to do here.
I'm still freaking out. No, it's going to be beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, he's lost it.
It's a kaleidoscope of science. What does that even mean?
Yeah, I don't even know what science is.
Can we get him in a headlock and knock him out a moment?
So
did you hear that, Wyloch? We are willing to knock you out.
And now, as a symptom of my withdrawal from being all-knowing, I'm kind of going into a seizure, tweaking out.
All right. Okay. Then, as he seizes, seemingly retracting to his former Wyloch self, before he had, innumerable amounts of knowledge running through his brain, you kind of grasp his twitching and flailing form, Zariff, and you are able to sort of get him into a position where he's not going to kick and flail either one of you off the disc, but he is still flapping around like a fish on land, freeing up Arri to do whatever he'd like with that gem. Crush it, throw it overboard.
I take the gem and put it into the thing, and I keep my hand there in case I need to like retract it, and I'm waiting for the impossible blade.
Cool. So at the moment the gem presses into the thing without the blade in it, with your hand on there, because you were holding it in your metal arm, welcome to the finale. You see this data spike just sort of like that blue course up your arm, and then go past your metal arm, and you see it like raising up your neck, and down the other side of your body, and your eyes glow this bright blue. The same bright blue you saw in the man on the boat, Grigori, before he burnt out. You see this, like, brilliant blue just emitting from you, and then as you see it coming out of your mouth as well, and it sort of beams up to where the gem is, and you see it, like, knit back and forth as if stitching the face, like printing out of your eyes and mouth, and you see the exact same face forming as Wyloch.
I don't care if you have to go through his hand or not.
Arri, no!
Stab it.
There is no Arri. There is only Zool.
The face that is now emitting like a hologram out of Ari's face turns to you, Silica, as you are the one wielding the blade.
Stab now. Stab now. Stab now.
You have a second to react.
I was ready to stab, so I am primed to, like, even though Arri beat me to the punch, I put just the tip.
Okay. Arri, have an XP.
Okay.
Who do you give the next one to?
Wyloch, for such interesting role playing today.
Go. You jam the blade through Ari's hand, boom, into this glass, into this crystal. You hear this that same strange noise you heard down below, and you see the light sort of skitter and flicker out, and the face begins to like contort into like this strange demonic face as it's still restitching itself, attempting to remain whole in this light beam, even though like Ari's starting to blink and close his mouth, and the light focuses are wavering. And you hear this wrenching of metal, and at that second you kind of look up and you see that all of the scaffolding around you is crumbling as if rusting, and just and falling off. You hear this massive splash beneath you, and this like whistling sound as this metal plummets what looks to be miles down to the water. You're not sure what it's hitting down there or how much turbulence it's causing, but it's just falling, and you see these skittering blue lines are emitting from the face down and avoiding everywhere around the gem, and sort of skittering down as if trying to escape, like rats leaving a sinking ship. The dish you're on sort of wavers as more and more of the metal or synth scaffolding rusts and collapses underneath you. And as you look down through the glass plate, you see that the storm is getting smaller and smaller and slowly abating. What do you guys do now?
We need to get down. We need to get down.
So
get off the roof, get off the roof, get off the roof, get off the roof.
I want to see where Wyloch is and get him towards the center of the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grabbing Arri and following Zariff.
So I assume you are on top of so Zariff, you are on top of Wyloch, so you're able to grab him. Wyloch, are you still seizing?
It ended right about the time that all this stuff started going down.
The feeling of losing knowledge has stopped, and is now a fleeting memory. As you
losing memory is a memory.
When you pulled the thing out, the losing of memory, you no longer feel the losing of memory. You feel that the memory you had was fleeting, and you no longer have it. Silica, do you remove the blade, or do you just kind of yank Arri? Because the blade's in Ari's hand.
It's not a weapon. I yank Arri.
Okay. As she pulls you, the lights dim, and you remember nothing after slamming that gem in there. You do have a strange sensation as your arm dangles limp and lifeless by your side.
I turn and I say, quick, put the sword in. Wait, what?
As you try to hold it up, and your arm doesn't move at all.
What's going on?
Now, what are you guys doing to get down?
Somebody drop this?
I knew it!
How do you get down?
Well, it appears that
I have faith. I have faith that the platform will return us.
I punch some code on the side of my arm, and it turns into a parachute.
It doesn't. Your arm remains limp and lifeless.
Good question, guys. Is there anything, this machine, is there anything that like hang glidery that we could form really quick or something like that?
I like that idea.
Like a satellite dish that's shaped funny that I can't really bend it now that my arm's dangly, but
right. There doesn't appear to be anything that would act as a webbing like a canvas. This is just jutting pieces of metal forming a massive crown-like antenna, unfortunately. You do have several cloaks, but you don't know how far this is or really how parachutes work. And especially since your scientist is no longer a scientist, it's really hard to calculate that math.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Look at your Numenera, guys. What do you got? I used my last one.
I got an artifact helmet that gives me an extra arm that can't lift anything over 10 pounds, and I got a robot horse.
How many people can we fit on that horse?
I'm gonna guess 2, but that would be up to Mr. Mike there.
Is it a robot horse or is it a robot mount? Did it say horse?
It said robot steed.
Steed. Okay. And that's just a cipher, right?
Yeah.
Got a wooden rod that grows 1 inch per month. And some rope.
Thank you for sharing.
Ladies, yes.
And some things venom sac. So if we want to off ourselves, we can drink some venom.
Says it's a portable steed, level 5, lasts 7 hours, holds 2, shatters into 1d6 oddities.
Okay, that answers that question.
Okay.
the floor is glass, right?
It appears to be some kind of clear, translucent, hardened thing. Yes.
Yeah, I look over at Ari's hammer and then up at Arri.
You're not entirely sure if Wyloch is still gone insane.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by this, and I'm kind of like, well,
So
yeah, we could fall faster. Yes.
is there anything at all on this machine that's still active, that's still there, that might give me any kind of indication of, like, you said that there were levers. Is there something like, oh, it's currently up, can I pull it down to see if that'll make it go down?
There's no indication of which one would make you actually descend. However, you're fairly certain, like, you think that most of these adjust the dishes in certain ways, right? Without being able to decipher what some of the writing is, you're not sure what would bring you here, or even what brought you here in the first place. You're pretty sure that despite the knowledge that your device will only carry 2, you can make it down. It's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna kill you.
I'll take hurt.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. So as you guys are scrambling to try to figure this out, you see more and more of this thing is just eroding and falling off as the blue lights kind of retract from it. You notice that the massive donut of a storm is seemingly spinning as if being like sucked down a drain, right? And you notice that it's slowly evaporating as if around this column of light that doesn't exist, this column of nothingness. And Zariff, I think probably you are the most visually adept here. You see that the flower is gone, and that there's a small white dot, and around the white dot is a maelstrom of churning water. It's seemingly like making a drain. The storm is being sucked towards that, and you can see the white dot descending into the depths of the ocean. And as you pull out your Numenera, which I will allow you to explain what it looks like, what form it takes, the waves kind of crash in, the storm is fully abated, and the island, if that's what that was, appears to be gone.
But is there a boat?
You can't see it from up here. Way too small. But you do have this Numenera device ready to rock and roll. How does it deploy? What does it look like? And how painful is that descent down?
All right, so this thing was kind of designed to be transportation in whatever method you might need, but it was designed in an age when compacting technology was all the rage. So this thing is, like a big box, but it like unfolds and totally does like the Transformers thing, and it unfolds. It is some bizarre 6-legged, creature-esque thing with wings, with seating for 2, and it's ready to go. And if we cram on there and hold tight, we can kind of glide down. It's not designed to hold 2. So it's designed to hold 2. So putting 4 of us on there is going to be a bit rough, and it's going to make it descend far more rapidly than it's supposed to. So I'm going to attempt to guide this thing.
Okay.
And the whole time, I'm looking for the boat. I'm looking for that ship, and I'm going to try and steer for the deck and pray it works.
So I will say this: you have a fair sense that if you steer this thing into the deck, you may damage the boat or kill yourself. But if you can get it towards the water, that might be the safest landing. If you can like angle it into the water and have the boat find you, that might be the safest way to do it. You don't want to dive bomb and explode the boat, or put a giant hole in the boat, right?
Okay.
Because you are crashing no matter what. Yeah.
That's
true.
So then, realizing that plan, as we get within range, I will fire an arrow with a rope attached to it at the boat, so that we got somebody with only one working arm. We got our scientist that has kind of been brain addled. I don't know if any of them are going to be able to swim.
Yeah.
And we got a swirling maelstrom out here, so I got to be prepared for all things.
Okay. So you guys jump on, clamber on, grab on as best you can to this 8-legged, winged monstrosity of metal and synth and sinew, and you spiral down amongst careening pieces of metal and shrapnel and whatever the disc was made out of as it crumbles around you. You guys see the ocean rushing towards you, and you just this slow tailspin of fury as you guys descend towards the water. Zariff, at the last second, in the dizzying heights, you fire in what direction you assume or you think that you see the boat, but it's too difficult to maneuver. As you said, you have Silica, who's in health, but the other two have one arm and is slightly maddened or at least dumbfounded and can't really help you rein this thing in. Plus, there's too many people for you to get a good hold on it. So you're kind of controlling it with your knees as you fire this arrow in, not seeing where it lands as you guys collide with the water and darkness. We pick up weeks later on the shore. You have made it back to the city of Bridges. All of you are laid up in various ways. Wyloch, you have regained some normalcy, and you still feel the tug of knowledge. However, there is no gem in your head, and you can only barely remember what you barely remembered before. Zariff, you still have an aversion to sunlight and people and emotions. However, you have been thrust into a sort of limelight as you are wheeled through the city because both of your legs have been shattered at this point.
Oh, lovely!
They'll be fine. You just need time to recover. It's only been a few weeks. But it takes a lot to control a metal steed with your legs and impact into water like cement. You'll be fine, but you are thrust into the limelight as heroes. Silica, unfortunately for you, you have the most devastating of maladies. You have several scars that bother you very much. That you try to hide with makeup, clothing, high collars, etc. It's not as bad as you would think, but they're the most atrocious thing that Silica could think of.
Mm-hmm.
Arri, you seem to have made it out relatively unscathed, except a large cloth hangs over your arm like a cape, or at least where your arm was. The metallic, lifeless mound of nothing had to be severed because it was just hanging there, causing a drain on your body. You are missing one arm. You guys have been paraded as heroes, the only successful ship to return from this voyage, because there were multiple. There is a parade in your honor once all of you are feeling up to it, and you have free reign as heroes to the Bridges in the Sea Kingdom of Gone. What are you guys doing now that you've returned as conquering?
I notice Wyloch's distress, and I feel the most responsible for our fate and everyone's ailments. And so Silica, in her own small way of trying to make a penance for all of this, is trying to track down Wyloch's family. Because in the Yesterglass, we saw that he was of nobility. I would have noticed that. I probably could have picked up hints on where to look for his family, for people who might have known him. And so quietly, I've been searching for ways to reunite him with his loved ones.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
I have I started not being able to go anywhere and not really caring about the limelight or people in general. I started a journal, and if I get through everything that happened on the island, I then begin making the list. These are the locations where the choir is, and it's essentially the what's next.
Okay. Wyloch and Arri, what are you guys doing?
I've been alternating between Women of the Night and reading books, trying to quell the withdrawal, but also trying to regain some of that infinite knowledge that I used to have.
Awesome. And Arri?
I'm assuming there was some kind of like money reward for us doing this.
There was a monetary reward. Fame. There was a monetary reward of let's call it 2,000 shins apiece. It was a kingly order.
So I'm not interested in fame, and the parades kind of bother me, and I don't really want to be. I feel like everyone's glorifying like a cripple, and I don't like it. And so I am saddened that I lost my arm, but it's also this huge relief because my fear was that my arm was slowly taking over my entire body. So in this way, I know that I'm going to live and survive and not become a monster, but I don't feel whole. So I take whatever money they gave me and I go back to my small town and I get a small cottage a few miles outside of the town. And I kind of just retire there and grow plants and live my life.
Okay. So Arri has descended to the life of a farmer, or ascended, if you will. Zariff is seeking out to destroy the Insidious choir wherever it may pop up. Wyloch is trying to regain some semblance of who he was or who he might be. And Silica is trying to atone for what she feels as though is her fault. Silica, in your search for family, for a Numeneran device that may return him to his former lack of sanity, or perhaps give Arri a new arm, or expedite the procedures for Zariff and or assist him in finding the Insidious choir, you happen upon a half-open door in the chambers of the coral, the coral castle inside the Sea Kingdom of Gone, and you hear a familiar voice. It's your father's voice. Not really thinking much of it, knowing this isn't a closed-door meeting, having it being half open, you sort of poke your head in, and you see your father. You see the woman in green, elaborate garb that saw you before you left. You see several other people who you don't recognize, but recognize as dignitaries of somewhere else. And you see King Laird, the Sea King. They all sort of see you pop your head in, look up at you, your father nods, and you see another man sort of grab the door and sort of motion to push you out. And as you get your final glimpse at the table as you're being pushed out of the door, you notice two things. One, this looks like a war room. There are what look to be pieces on the board of tactical positioning, and you see that your father is holding an envelope, or a rolled up piece of parchment, and on it is the sun symbol with 8 squares. And that is where we'll wrap up the season of Fury.
Yeah. Good job, sir. This was awesome.
So let's go around. Thank you guys very much. Thank you for playing. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you, chat, for sticking out for 11 weeks with us. Let's go around. Get your final thoughts on this. And chat, if you want to spew out questions at us, we will answer as we have time to do so. Yeah, we'll hear from our sponsors, then we'll get the heck out of here, guys. And I'll leave you with one final surprise at the very end. So let's start with I think who had the most positive outcome here. Let's start with Jordan. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of this show?
My name is Jordan. You can find me here on YouTube at search Forgotten Realms Explained. I make videos about Forgotten Realms lore. And I had a great time. I got more attached to Arri than I thought I would, because this system wasn't D&D, and I was kind of like, oh, it's not D&D, I'm not going to like it as much, but like I really got invested in this. So the whole story, I think it took me a couple episodes to kind of figure out how to play, but once that clicked, I had a lot of fun with it, and I feel bad for Arri. Like there's it's like bittersweet. He kind of got what he wanted, but he's also living this like sad life by himself. And yeah, he needs a girlfriend, I think. Season 2, Arri gets a girlfriend. Yeah,
I think Wyloch can help you with that. Speaking of, let's jump over to Bill. Bill, who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of this show?
Hey, I'm Bill. I'm on YouTube at Wyloch's Crafting Vids, where I show you how to make terrain like this here behind me with real cheap materials and everything. Numenera is really cool. It's fun. They say that the rules get out of the way and everything. I think that's true. I think the adjustment I made after like session 3 or something was to stop taking notes on everything and trying to figure it out, looking for connections. That's not the case. And I don't think that's necessarily your style, Mike. It's more to the setting that there's just weird stuff all around.
Yep.
And you just got to enjoy the ride and not try and connect it all, and you'll have a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
There are subtle connections, tiebacks, and other weird shit that, like, if you're paying attention, you'll get, but you don't need notes. That's my style. Is you don't need notes to follow along with everything, especially on a short campaign like this. Other ones that are like 50 episodes long, you might need some notes, but this was a perfect length for this story. Let's jump over to KENI. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of the show?
So I'm KENI. You can find me at twitch.tv/KENI Hill. We're actually playing God of War all week. So like you should all definitely come out and check it out. It's great. I did not know what to think of the Numenera system at first, but I don't know if you guys can tell. I really like role-playing aspect of tabletop
Role-playing games.
So I loved the system and just this really heavy emphasis on storytelling, and my heart's just like beating 80 beats a minute right now. Or wait, no, that sounds right. And I don't want it to end. I had such a great time. It was really, really fun.
I'm super glad you guys like the game so much. Last but not least, we'll jump over to Ted. Who are you? Where can we find you? Who are our sponsors? And what did you think of the show?
Absolutely. I am Ted from Nerdarchy. You want videos on RPG-related materials with a heavy focus on D&D 5e, you can check us out over on YouTube. We also have our own website, nerdarchy.com. Great article content over there as well. Our sponsors, thank you very much to Archania Workshop. Awesome 3D printed materials, dungeon tiles, terrain, minis, all great stuff. He's recently put up a new dice tower. So please, go check out his stuff. We also have pyromancers.com, Dungeon Painter Studios. If you want to craft your own maps for your game, it is a great resource to go check out. So if you really enjoy the content that we did here on Numenera Fury, please support our sponsors. It's the best way to show them the support for making this happen.
Hell yeah.
As far as the game, I absolutely loved it. I actually had a little bit of experience with the Cypher system before coming in here, so I had a little bit of knowing what to expect with that. Totally agree with everybody else saying that the rules really do allow you to get the mechanics out of the way and just focus on the role playing. Mike, I totally loved your style that is not combat heavy, so we can just get into role playing and exploration, and while doing that you are still using the system, so you're still you're expending effort, so you still need to rest. So we're essentially taking the stat damage without any combat because of the level of difficulties, but we're choosing to do it. So it really shows how great the system is, doing that. I'm like everybody else. I'm sad to see that the campaign is over. As far as Zariff is concerned, he's still going to go out there and put up the fight as soon as his legs are healed. He's got his list of targets and where he's going next.
Sweet. Awesome. I'm so glad you guys love the campaign. I will give you guys 2 secrets before I give my spiel of who I am, and then we'll answer a few questions here. 1, you have all read more of the Numenera core book than I have. 2, I have never run Numenera before. So this was an awesome experiment for me. I may have a bevy of books behind me, but I don't read them because I just don't care to. They are amazing. The artwork is lovely. I skim through them for sure, but I do not read any of the books behind me from cover to cover. I just sort of wing it and look up rules as I need to. So you don't need to devour a book to play the game, and that goes for pretty much everything except for, like, I don't know, what's that cyberpunk futuristic fantasy,
Shadowrun?
except for Shadowrun. That has the most numbers in any book. It's 500 pages of pure numbers. There's hardly any words in there. Maybe read that book. But yeah, you guys don't need. Yeah, you guys don't need to read the entire book cover to cover. If that is a daunting task for you to become a DM, don't let that stand in your way. If you want to see more of me, more of my DM style, more of my play style, check me over at either twitch.tv/unmadegaming or YouTube/unmadegaming or all social medias as such. We have a few quick questions here to go over. I like this one a lot, so I'm going to start with this one. Jordan, maybe start or try Numenera lore, please? I support this endeavor. I support this new channel that Jordan is now starting.
Numenera lore. Numenera explained.
There is so much lore for it too.
Well, there was a sale. I don't know if it's still going for Monte Cook Games stuff. So if you're looking to pick up any of the Numenera or Cypher System or any of that stuff, you know, now's a good time. They're trying to clear their warehouses to get the new system in.
Numenera 2's coming out, yeah.
The next question is from Justin Harris. When are we playing? If you guys want to play with me in any game, follow me on Twitter. I do a charity stream every month on Twitch, live for Extra Life. And I have viewers, community members, players do that. So follow me on Twitter or join the Discord for my channel. Crimson Wolf, this is a question you guys can all answer. What can be taken out of Numenera and put in, say, 5th edition?
So when I run 5th edition games, I do a lot of skill challenges because I enjoy skill challenges. And with Numenera, you're kind of doing those without picking a skill because there's just the 3. So you kind of decide what you want to do and do that. And maybe I was thinking of incorporating more of that, like rather than trying to be like, how can I use athletics or how can I use my insight, be more like, how could I use my dexterity or how could I use my constitution in this, and just roll stat rolls like that.
Yeah.
And then maybe give proficiency based on how well they role play it. So that's like getting an asset.
There was a mechanic in 4th edition. I know, throw Rotten Tomatoes at me. There was a challenge. It's literally called skill challenges in 4th edition.
Yeah.
And that was, you need X number of successes and X number of failures, and how you do it is up to you. The challenge is you need to run away. So if you have a skill that would help you run away and you want to flavor it however you want, you can do that, right? As long as it makes sense to helping you run away. That's kind of how I flavor most of my skill challenges, even for 5e. So yeah, let's go around. What do you guys think you could take out of Numenera and put in other systems like 5e, for example?
Well, I mean, I was looking at, you know, some of the weird stuff that we've gotten as, you know, the ciphers, and like that kind of stuff you could easily put in, you know, in some cases totally straight up as it is into the game, into D&D. Okay, well, you know what? You know, explain why there's alien tech, you know, in your world. Explain why it's there. And once you have that figured out, you don't know what it is. You don't know how to work it. Once you figure it out, it works once, or if it's, you know, if it's an artifact, it works until it stops working. There's no reason why you know, since both systems are a D20 base, you know, effect, why you couldn't just lift them straight out of the book and drop them in a game.
Yep.
And I was already thinking about that based on a couple of things that have transpired, you know, throughout the course of this gameplay.
Kenny and Bill, what do you guys think?
I mean, I agree with Jordan, and I've talked with Pidgey about this, Pidgey Pot Pie in chat, about the skill challenges. And, you know, we've even been working on some stuff because, you know, when you see something cool that you like, you're like, how do I expound on this?
Yeah.
How do I make it even better? So not even necessarily putting it into 5e, but just expounding on the idea, and because it encourages role play. Like Jordan hit it on the nail. It encourages that role play aspect so well. And I think that's why people get into tabletop RPGs in the first place, is because it's the storytelling.
Yeah, I don't want to be the Monty Cook poster boy here, but I am. Numenera is to Cypher Systems as Forgotten Realms is to D&D. If you get the Cypher Systems core book, there are rules, it's very rules light, for fantasy, sci-fi, horror, Cthulhu. Like, everything you want. You can play anything with Cypher Systems. I chose Numenera because it's their flagship, but I could have easily run a cyberpunk future lasers and feelings kind of game. But it's all up to you. So if you like the mechanics and you want to transfer them to D&D, I encourage you get Cypher Systems and just try using the mechanics in a fantasy flavored Cypher Systems. It's totally doable. There's no reason to port. In my eyes, there's not a lot of reason to port rules and stuff from other systems when the other systems do it well for a reason. Most people stick to D&D because it's what they know the best. Bill, what about you? What do you think you could translate from here to other games?
I don't have a lot new to add. Again, my favorite pillar is exploration, and so taking ciphers and making them basically potions, like single-use things in D&D, rather than having sword +1 in D&D. And 5th edition is good about this. You make every magic item really unique, which really facilitates that exploration. So you take a cipher, you take the flavor and the description of it, and you make up whatever the mechanics are in D&D.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. And the ciphers are easy enough to make up. If you want to make a one-shot thing that does something cool, it's super easy to make the mechanics for it. It does X number of damage, or does X effect for X amount of time. Pretty simple. Justin Harris says, what happened to Mr. Pickles? Oh, he's still there. Don't worry. They didn't find the Garrelon, so it's still firmly fused to Silica's spine.
I'm sure it will be very useful in the future should I ever happen upon it some other clutch. But
that's true. There could be other Nagani around. And I think the last question here is, how's Ted like VTTs?
What?
How does Ted like VTTs? Virtual tabletops.
Oh, I'm not a huge fan of the virtual tabletops. I prefer rolling real dice. I prefer, doing things. I think I upset the dice gods by having to use a dice roller. But I mean, for those who want to use them, by all means, I'm not going to stop you.
I just ran my first virtual tabletop yesterday. I've only ever played at the table, and it was a different experience, but it was fun.
Sweet.
It's weird not knowing how to use Roll20, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, there's a learning curve there that I wish didn't exist.
I don't use any function. What you saw today, or what you saw for the past 11 weeks, that's all I use. The roller and character sheets, and that's where it ends. So yeah, guys, that was this season of Numenera Fury, or Saber Dice Fury here in the Island of Undoing. There are many plots around and happening and all kinds of fun things. So the last nugget of information I will leave you on is that stay tuned to either my Twitter or the Saber Dice Twitter or all of these Twitters because we will be back for Season 2. And with that, bye-bye.
Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for watching.
And we're clear. So, how'd you guys like the ending? Yeah. So they do, however, I literally had this conversation on that's why I sprung it on you guys, because I literally had this conversation on the way home from work. I'm like texting while driving home. I know, I'm a criminal, don't worry. But Harbinger, which is the current season that Cody's running, is just continuing. They just didn't end at 12 episodes. And he was like, hey, if you want to, just continue running. And I was like, no, I like the encapsulated season. That way it gives you guys a chance. If you want to let, someone go off from the sunset and make a new character, that's totally fine. Plus, if you can't make it, I'd like to give you that ending point. That way you can be like, hey, I can't play anymore because of whatever, work, life, children, etc.